We'll begin with the reading of the preamble. Good.
I got 2 days this morning.
Okay.
Good morning, my name is Liz Kukla. I'm the Secretary of the Board of Zoning Appeals, and I'm going to read the preamble for you this morning, this Monday, February 26th. In compliance with notification requirements of the city's open meeting law and section 101.021 of the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the city planning department conduct its meetings according to the Roberts Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Please note that call-in users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We have provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak on a particular case via our website and email. All requests to speak on a particular matter have been considered. We've also received emails from those who have provided written comment on a particular matter. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Would you like to call a roll?
Sure. Ms. Wilson?
Present.
Ms. Roca?
Present.
Ms. Holzer?
Present.
Ms. Brown?
Present.
Ms.
I am here.
Madam Chair, we have a full.
That is fabulous. Okay. Mr. Bay, do we have any other council people besides Councilman Gray with us today? Okay,
Madam Chair, we do have 3 postponements this morning.
all right. If you want to go over those.
Sure. Calendar number 24-011 at 3742 East 143rd Street. Ian Luke proposed to change use from a gas station to assembly use in a B1 local retail business district. The appellant is requesting more time to prepare his appeal.
30 days or less?
He did not specify. 30 days would be March 25th.
Okay.
All right. Calendar number 24-011 will be postponed to March 25th. There will be no testimony this morning for this case. If you received a paper copy of the letter, you will receive another letter in the mail closer to the next hearing date. And then, Madam Chair, we also have calendar number 24-015. This is regarding 2923 East 125th Street. Turning Points Behavioral Health. They propose to establish use as a residential facility for 6 occupants. The appellant's attorney has requested more time.
Okay,
Also prepared.
30 days?
30 days would be March 25th.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so calendar number 24-015 regarding 2923 East 125th Street will not be heard this morning. No testimony will be taken. If you received a letter in the mail, we will send another letter closer to the hearing date of March 25th. And then, Madam Chair, calendar number 23-206. We did receive a communication verbally. I did not receive an email or a letter. I'm not sure if the appellant has changed his mind, and that again is for calendar number 23-206. If we could call his his name, actually it's Ms. Kim Barrett. Is she present on the call this morning or in the meeting room?
Do we have a Kim Barrett with us?
Or anybody representing? And that is 15506 Park Road.
I did not see the name on the call.
Great.
Okay.
So if that is all right with you, Madam Chair, we could give them 30 days as well.
Yep.
We put it up on that day. So calendar 23-02, sorry, -206 at 15506 Park Grove Avenue. Kinberg proposing to enclose existing front porch of single-family residence. That case has been postponed to March 25th. There will be no testimony this morning taken on this case. And if you received a letter in the mail, we will send you another letter in the mail closer to the hearing case. And that's all that we have this morning for postponements and withdrawals.
All right, I think that's enough. Okay. So, Councilman Gray, we'll take your, only have one case with us now.
Right.
So, Ms. Holzer will move to calendar number 24-015.
23. Good morning, everybody. I'm just waiting for the slide.
Madam Chair, 15 has been voted.
What's that?
015 is the one that we have postponed already. At 292.
Oh, right. Sorry. It's the next one. Sorry,
Yeah.
Ms. Holzer.
All good. 23205, correct?
Correct.
All right. Our first case of the day is calendar number 23-205. It's at 3272 East 119th Street. Fashion Lab LLC proposes to establish use as a residential facility for 5 occupants in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2. This case was postponed from December 18th, 2024. Testimony was taken at that time. It was postponed to allow time for the appellant to engage with the community and to return with an operations plan. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. I will swear in all who are present for this case. I will start with those of you who are in the room. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your right hand, reply with I do, your name and your address.
LaToya Priester, I do. 2257 East 86th Street, Cleveland, Ohio, 44106.
Thank you. Next person, please.
Councilwoman Gray, 601 Lakeside Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone online who wishes to speak in this matter? Okay, hearing nothing, back to you, Madam Chair.
We do have another person here.
Oh, you have another person? Okay,
Zach Reed, 3713 East 149th Street, and I'm from Taylor Street.
okay, thank you.
This whole room is here.
Hmm?
This whole room.
Okay, I see
Oh,
someone.
you're all here for this case?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where all of you in.
Yeah, so anyone that's here for this case, you need to move your chair forward, please.
Madam Chair, while you get those people in the room situated, I do see someone whose hand is raised online. There are initials LOH. Do you wish to speak in this matter?
Yes, LOH is pronounced Lou. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your right hand, reply with I do, your name and your address.
I do. The name LOH, pronounced as Lou. I'm a homeless person, so I stay in the shelter 2227 Payne Avenue.
Okay, and can you share your last name, please?
Lou is the last name.
Okay, and then what's your first name?
She just goes by Lou, Miss Wilson.
Yes.
So just that name. Okay, very good.
Just that name.
We'll move on to those of you who are in the room who have not sworn in.
Gentlemen? Go ahead, Miss Wilson.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your right hand. Reply with I do, your name and your address.
Andre Osborne, 3249 East 119th. Two.
Did you say I do or
I
you
do.
affirm?
Okay.
Thank
Justin
you.
Reeves, 253 East 119th Street, Cleveland, Ohio. I do.
Okay. All right, I believe is that everyone in the room for this case then? All right. All right, I believe that's everyone then, Ms. Wilson.
Okay, I think so too. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Great, thank you so much. Okay. We've taken testimony on this case.
Yes, Madam Chair, we have, however, the request for additional information regarding the operations plan, we did receive that late this morning, or
Early this morning.
It's been forwarded to the board members. I'm not sure if we should immediately address that if the board is comfortable with going forward.
Right. Okay, board, the information was received at, I think, like 4 a.m. this morning and emailed out. Did you all have an opportunity to review it? And are you comfortable with moving forward with the case? I'm not hearing any response.
This is Member Brown. I have not read it, but I'm willing to hear testimony, additional testimony.
Okay. All right, Ms. Holter?
I would agree. I looked at it quickly before the meeting, but I haven't been able to go through everything thoroughly. So I could do so as we are hearing testimony.
Okay. Ms. Roca, Ms. Wilson, are you in the same opinion?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay. Okay. So they're comfortable proceeding.
I do have copies of that for you. If you'd like
Okay.
to have that in your hands.
Thank you. Okay. So we postponed. Well, let's see. Is there anything else then
No.
besides this?
That is it.
Okay, do you want to do legal? Just refresh our memory?
Okay. Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance and an area variance from the minimum distance requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Great, thank you so much. All right. So we postponed the case back in December, so that you would have time to meet with the community. Did that happen?
No, it didn't. It didn't happen because I had a meeting, Ms. Long, and then I unfortunately, I did not give Miss, what's your name, last name again?
Priester.
Miss Reese enough time. I didn't give her enough time to present herself to the community because I had a two-part program. And the first part went long and then it was over. And then she came and asked me, could she still speak? I told her she was able to speak on her group home, but not on the Black history. But unfortunately, she left out because she was upset with me because people was leaving. And then I went and told her that she could still come and speak, even though half of the community had already started leaving the meeting, but some of the residents were still there. So she was really upset, and then I met her in the hallway, told her that she can come back and speak to who was there. She said that she was too upset to do that. And then she went out into the parking lot, and I followed her out into the parking lot. She was sitting in the car with our representative Brewer, and I talked to her one more time. I told her that she could still come back in and talked to the residents who was in the room. And so she was really upset in the car at me. And so I asked her, I said, come on back in. People are still there. I said, even somebody from 119th Street, 2 people from 119th Street were still in the meeting. Will be able to hear what she has to say. She was still extremely upset with me because she didn't get the chance to speak in the moment. But I went and talked to her again and again and again. And so I asked her when she's coming back in, and she said, I'll be back in. So I went back in because I had another speaker Burton Bell Carr had to speak to, and they stayed in there waiting. So we waited and waited, and so Miss Presley didn't come back in to speak. She didn't come back in to speak at the end of the day. So it's unfortunately the way it happened that way. So she was extremely upset with me because, but during the meeting, it was pretty long. It started at 4.
Wow.
I had a Black History Legacy Month. And I introduced a lot of 6 honorees of the local honorees award for, and it lasted longer than I expected.
Yeah.
And so during that time frame, the 2 hours that they were there speaking, a lot of residents started leaving at the time. And when it shut down, I was like, okay, I announced everybody that I said, okay, good night, goodbye. And not realizing saying goodbye, people thought it was over.
Yeah.
And that's when Miss Percy came up and say, hey, do I get a chance to speak? I said, you can speak about your group home, but not about the Black history part. So she said, that's okay, Councilwoman Gray. And she was upset with me and she rushed out. And then I rushed after her. I talked to her in the lobby, didn't I? I talked to you in the lobby and I asked you to come back. And you said, no, that's okay. That's okay. And she was still crying. I went outside to meet her outside. And she was still crying. She said, no, that's okay. And when she got into a Brewer, Representative Brewer van, I went over to the van. I pleaded her for her to come back. I said, come on back in. We still have residents in the meeting. We said, you can still speak to them because 2 other residents from 119th are still in there. They're in there to listen to you. So she said, okay, Councilwoman Gray, I'll be in. So then I went back into the rack. Burton Bell Carr was still waiting to speak. And I was waiting on her and she never came back in. So it was unfortunately, no, she didn't get a chance to speak to anybody, but she didn't get a chance to speak to the ones that was left at the meeting who stayed.
Yeah.
Who stayed at the meeting because I didn't leave out until 6:45 or 7 o'clock.
Okay.
So I know she was extremely
And
upset with me.
that's the only meeting that you had between
Yes.
December and now.
Right, only have, as a matter of fact, that meeting was early. I normally have my meetings in March,
Yeah.
but I had that particular meeting in
Okay.
February because it was Black History Month and that was a special meeting.
Right.
But normally my meetings doesn't start until March.
And did you have an opportunity other than that exchange to speak one-on-one at all?
With the residents?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I went out Saturday and Sunday and went on 119th, spoke to all these residents up and down 119th. I was over there for 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours. Then I went back Sunday and spoke to the residents on 118th and 121st Sunday. And I spoke to all of them, knocked on their doors and gave them my e-brochure. And I asked them, how do they feel about having a second group home on the street on 119th? Is one group home already there? How do they feel about having a second one? The point of the matter is not the need. That is not the point. They know there's a need. The point of the question was, how do you feel having a second group home 2 doors and a block away from the other group home who I went and visited? Because that woman who owned that person who owned that house, group home, called me too. And I went over to her house Saturday. But I visited 3 streets Saturday and Sunday, talked to every resident up and down the street. And gave them, and I asked them, I just have a question. How do you feel about having a second group home? And then the outcome of the percentage, they said 1 group home was enough. If that group home was on a different street, they wouldn't have a problem. but you got two group homes on one street, they fear that another third group home will come in 1,000 feet. Now, that's what I got the feedback in the Saturday and Sunday that I talked to all the residents in those, on those 3 streets.
Okay,
That was the feedback I got from them. And some of them said they don't have a problem with them, but the majority said it's 2 group homes and they fear that if a third one could come, there'd be 3 within 1,000 feet all up and down the streets in per neighborhood. Doesn't have to be Ward 4. It's just the fact that it's the second and the third that may come behind this one. And that's the only concern. They get the need. They get the need. They not against the need because we have needs all over and they understand that. But they said it's the second one on the street.
okay. Xavier, do you have the map of so we can see the adjacency?
So the home line down here is the other licensed facility. This ring is 1,000-foot buffer. This second ring is another 1,000-foot buffer.
Okay. So the existing one, point to the existing one for us, is there. Okay,
This highlighted cell is the property.
all right. Okay. And did you have an opportunity to meet with the appellant?
Did, after the last hearing, and we set clock for a significant amount of time, just that they,
Madam Chair, this is Member Brown. I cannot hear the person very well.
Okay.
If they could speak up. Thank
Sure,
you.
we're apparently down to 1 mic, so. Yeah, that's fine.
so, good morning.
If you just want to say your
Sure.
name for the record.
This is
Sure.
Kim Scott, City Planning, and I did have a chance to meet with the appellant directly after the last hearing. They came to my office, or she came to my office, and we discussed possibilities, potential, what could be done for outreach. We suggested maybe having an open house and inviting people from that street to come. I don't know whether or not that happened or not. I know city planning, when it comes to matters like this where we have to testify, we always want to be apprised of what is taking place in order to meet the commitment of doing outreach to the community. So I hadn't heard anything that had happened, so yes.
I did go to the tour. I did go to the house and I did tour the house.
When was it?
I thought I sent you an email. I know I sent the entire Cuyahoga County and city emails off the website, so every staff that was listed. It was January 25th, 26th, and I added an extra day, which was the 27th, to ensure Councilwoman could be present.
I was there. I think I came Saturday evening after 6. I was there.
Okay.
I toured the.
So you toured the property, the facility?
Yeah, for the facility. And
Okay.
it's very well renovated, very well set up, per se. But like I said, this is not my expertise. As you know, this is the 3rd time I'm in a meeting of a group home in Ward 4. It's the 3rd time. So for me, my opinion for me was the same concern that I had from the other previous group home, that you putting 2 people in the same room who don't know each other and there's no divider of privacy. That's the same concern that I had from the other one. That's why the situation with her, and she's coming back. That's one that was put on hold. She coming back for what reason. But I told them that the facility they renovated is a nice place. It's set up the way I guess a group home's supposed to be set up per se. But my only concern was to have 2 bedrooms that have 2 sets of beds in there, and there's no divider of privacy. And that was my only question to them.
Right.
And I explained to them that I questioned about the other group home with the same situation, that you put two people with different disabilities in the room, don't know each other, and not sure if you're compatible. And even though they have the expertise to understand that, that's not my background and expertise of how people in social service, people in that position could deal with that. But my concern was the privacy. There was no privacy in the two rooms. They have a third room that had one bedroom. That's your privacy. But there should be a divider in those two rooms that going to divide these two people so they can have their privacy, to deal with whatever they need to deal with. I don't know how that can be set up, but otherwise and stuff, I explained to the young ladies that was my only opinion, but to ensure that they get as many people, many residents from the neighborhood to come in there so they can build trust with them to see what they are trying to do for this particular group home, regardless, and I honestly said that to them. I was there for at least over an hour or so, and I enjoyed their company and stuff, but however, they needed to build the trust of the residents in the neighborhood.
Right.
Did we
Okay.
find how many people from the neighborhood actually came and visited?
Can I speak?
Yeah.
I know you usually wait to the end, but
I was gonna I wanted to get some
Yeah,
testimony and then
yeah.
let you
Okay.
sort of address.
Yes, I have it though, so
the
I can hold
concerns.
off on it, but yes, I have the sign-up sheets for each day of the group home.
Okay.
The residential home. walk.
So, if you can concisely give us how many people came through each day?
On the 25th, there were 16 people. On the 26th, there were 23 people. On the 27th, there were 10 people, totaling 49 visitors. I just want to special thank County Executive Chris Ronay, who came, County District 3 Council Martin Sweeney, who came, the Adams Board Behavioral Specialist Vince Crow, who showed up, Frontline Services Case Manager Evan, who showed up, Union Mouse Development Neighborhood Stability Manager Jamisha Alexander, who showed up, J-Star Homes, who has been accredited with the state 3 times, who showed up, the group home application that is a resource for providers to be able to find a place for the community if they're in need. They showed up. My mentor, Dwayne Griffin, who showed up, Peter Horth, who was on the hearing last time, who I learned is a part of the Poor People's Committee. He showed up. He actually came back with games for the residents. Ms. Debbie Calloway, who showed up, who had me understand that she didn't even understand the actual type of home services we were providing. She was confused by that. Peter did sign the petition. Ms. Debbie was still on the edge. Just to add to my open house, in our last hearing, Councilwoman Gray, with all due respect, stated that she would gladly walk with me door to door. Unfortunately, I reached out to her to invite her to my hearing via email, and she did show up. It was over at 5. She showed up at 6, stood on the porch for 45 minutes because she had a very, very important call, which I have been hearing since my first line of communication with her. The process has been very hard in collaborating with her because as she continues to remind me that she only cares about her constituents. And then once she came in, I tried to do my little walkthrough and give a tour and explain better information so she can have a greater understanding for a residential home. She said, I'm not here for that. I'm just here to see it. Just like that, which was kind of like disrupting. But then again, like she said, she ended up staying for an hour and a half. Once she noticed that the property owner was there, and the property owner stepped in after hearing how she was talking to me in the back room, very aggressive and nasty. She came back and kind of lightened the load where, again, Ms. Councilwoman was able to have a better communication. We was able to engage about other things that she's doing within the community for the residents. I did drop the ball at the community meeting. I was told multiple times before I even came, she was only going to give me 3 minutes because the meeting wasn't about me or businesses coming into her environment, but it was about Black history. I listened to all of the speakers. 2 stood out to me. The one who built Zelma George, where I was able to play basketball and be a child there. I seen my coach in the audience. When I got there, it was about 70 residents, 3 camera TVs, and I was excited to speak and share with the community. By the 5th person, he actually made me a little more comfortable because from the 70, it was about 20 when we got to the last person who spoke, and he was talking about how our community need help and people are walking around like zombies, which is on camera. Then after that, she presented her awards to all of them individually, which we dwindled down to about 15 people. At that point, yeah, I was very discouraged. I was crying. Once she got on the mic after passing the awards and telling the community, thank you for coming out. I appreciate you. She never said there's a part 2. I want you guys to stick around, hear anything. It was about 15 people there. So I walked up to her. I asked her, did you forget about me? She said, no, I didn't forget about you. You're a part of the second part of the meeting, not the first part. Give me some time. You're going to talk at the second part. Again, I was crying in my emotions. Ran outside. State Representative Darnell, who I recently met at Umbar, came out to comfort me, asked me was I okay. He was actually sitting by me, as well as the Huntington manager for the community, who asked me about opening up my business accounts there. He asked me, did I need a ride? Because I Ubered there. Straight after an interview, Uber straight to her event to make sure I was on time and dressed well. I did tell her no, I didn't want to come back in. She told me it was 2 residents in there. I told her at this point, what happens at the hearing happens, because I went door to door for her ward before the first meeting, got 135 signatures. She told me she didn't care about the ward to do East 118th Street. When she came out to the open house, she did extend the offer to East 119th and East 120th Street, trying to pick the warmest day after work hours to ensure many residents would be home as possible. And my children walked in the code and did what she asked. We got 23 signatures from East 118th and East 119th Street. My open house, I received 38 signatures from the 49 visitors who came. And I also went the extra mile and did an online petition to the city and got 251 signatures, totaling 447. But again, she said she only cared about the 18th and 19th, which was the 23 signatures. I did everything y'all asked me to do. I did submit my operations plans kind of late because I'm trying to do all this by myself. I have partnered with Share Homes, Ms. Roddy Turpin, who is going to work with me to make my operational plan more detailed. Work with me. She already is working with me to develop a 501c3 so that I can receive state qualify for additional funding to provide the excellent services. I hear to you. You asked me to reach out to Union Miles Development Neighborhood. You actually linked us. You sent the email doing a warm handoff. I met with her. Jamisha, she came. She said the house was amazing. And even after that, I reached back out because I was able to communicate with her and did a follow-up debrief where we sat down at the Umbar and discussed opportunities to make the property more sustaining for the community, which Peter also said he would like it to be more beautified. So we discussed, after getting through this zoning process, that I advocate to get the field next door so we could do some therapeutic care with the women, gardening, because the field it just look bad right now. And I don't know if you own it because he's one of the neighbors. He gave us wipes for the residents, alcohol wipes. He actually lived directly next door. And speaking of my signatures, 4 out of the 5 homes that's surrounding it said yes, except for one we were unable to speak with. I spoke with this man right here. He was very kind. We was able to agree to disagree. He told me that county informed him that the property value of his home would go down. So again, through this whole process, it's been like a redlining event within the community of there's going to be a neutral, unbiased opinion, but every person who was against it that I had the opportunity to speak with had information that they were able to inform me on that they were told by county representatives. So again, I respect Deborah Gray and all that she do. I understand she's very busy, but the dismissiveness,
we're gonna stop there.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Mr. Reed.
Hi, how are you?
Good to see you.
Oh, it's always good to be here.
Would you like to tell us why you're here and what you'd like to say?
I've got a 89-year-old mother that lives on the street, has lived on the street if I'm 60, she's been living on the street for well over there because my grandmother and grandfather owned the house that she now lives in upstairs. My 75, 80-year-old uncle lives downstairs. As Ms. Gray came by our house on Saturday and spoke to both myself and my uncle, we're totally against another group home. It's not like, they're just, as you know, what we're trying, the investment that we're bringing to the southeast side of the city of Cleveland. I grew up on 119th Street. It was once one of the most beautiful streets in the city of Cleveland. Won numerous awards for one of the most beautiful streets. But because of housing decay and the whole lights, there have been a number of homes that have been demolished, that have created a number of vacant lots on the street. We being the city, would like to reinvest back in the streets like that street, to put brand new homes, bring back brand new homeowners, and bring in another group home to that street that's right next to another group home or in that proximity. I believe, being a former street club president of 119th Street, that it would be detrimental to what we want to invest on the southeast side of the city of Cleveland. Nothing against what this young lady wants to do, but I think long range, having two group homes on this street, in that vicinity, so close to each other, with the investment that we want to bring to 119th Street and to the southeast side of the city of Cleveland. I see Terry Brown, she's on the call. She knows the investments that we're bringing to the southeast side of the city of Cleveland. Mm-hmm. This, I believe, would be harmful to what we would like to do long range.
How far away from this is your mom and your uncle?
My mom and uncle live at 3232 East 119th Street.
Okay.
So it's about 7 doors down.
Yeah, close by. Okay. Is that everything? Okay. Ms. Kuga, do we get any correspondence from anyone?
We did. Excuse me.
Particularly anyone from the county or the city that attended?
So we have many letters. I think you were sent a packet on Dropbox of the letters that Ms. Priester submitted. We did have some emails that were sent to us regarding objection. Bonnie Smith Godfrey at 3244 East 119th Street stated that she's a homeowner at that address, and the house is several houses away from her home. She's not in support of this happening on her street. There's another facility of this kind several houses away on the same side of the street, and she does not feel that this is a good idea at this time. Debbie Calloway did not leave her address, stated that she is a homeowner on East 119th Street. She's opposed to this house becoming a residential facility. Currently, there's a residential facility 3 houses from this specific address, and she states why change the rules. Excuse me. Don't see a name on this one. I would not read that one. That one has no name or address on it. This email comes from Renee Carter. She states that I don't see an address on this one. She states that it's found that many clients who live in mental health homes are there due to trauma. Having another group home within or less than 1,000 feet and possibly housing clients who may be compliant could cause and disturb the growth of residents' mental and emotional health. Secondly, as a property owner, their concern is property value on the homes. The values may decrease due to concentration of group homes less than 1,000 feet from each other. Rita's home is, I believe that's the other one on the street.
Right.
Has been accepted in the community, and the owner operator has shown that she is upstanding and in compliant with the regulations. She requires that clients are compliant with their behavior, medication, cleanliness. It has been a joy living next or near Rita's home in that location. Again, that was Renee Carter. No address was given. So those are the objection emails that we received. We did receive, well, this was in, again, this Latoika's package. Oh, sorry, yes, it's Latoika's Priester's package. I'm not sure if you want me to mention the number of support emails. There are many. And so your specific question was about the county, is that right?
Well, we had Ronayne, we had Sweeney, we had Adams Board. I just wondered if any of those people had sent anything.
I do believe, yes, we have an Adams board, at YWC and Greater Cleveland, someone from the Tuskegee Cancer Institute, Partners Counseling and Consulting Studio. These are community workers in the homeless population community. These are workers that have worked with Ms. Priester, who are supporting her, and we have many of those letters as well. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 letters of support. And again, these are people that worked with or under Ms. Priester at Norma Hare
Yes, ma'am.
Women's Center.
Cleveland's winning.
That's.
There was one in there too.
Okay, so what's our total on support letters then?
1, 2, 3, 4. There are 15. I think I have 11.
Okay, so we have 11 letters of support. All right, let's go to you, Mr. Osborne.
Yes.
Go ahead and make your statement.
Okay, my statement, first of all, I'm gonna start off this way. Like Mr. Reed said, I have no problem with homeless. No, that my biggest issue is I've been living over there over 35 years. And I have seen what the neighborhood, was and how, certain things degrade due to the fact of certain issues or certain things put in place on our street, And I have seen that most people do care about their neighborhood and want to upgrade their neighborhood and bring it up back like it used to be. Because I knew practically half the people over there, like his mom and some of the, it's quite a few people that died, over the period of time. But the whole issue is that I have an issue with having another group home or, however you want to put it, sitting right, on our street. Because it's, we all know that, you may not want to say it, but people don't want to move into areas that have too many group homes because it was certain issue. I had people coming over to my house. And Stan, what's that?
Sorry, someone needs to mute themselves. You're coming through in the middle of Mr. Osborne's testimony. Go ahead, sir. Sorry about that.
You had, you got what was that? You got, what was that?
Man,
Okay.
the members from the initial home coming to.
You may need to speak up a little bit, sir, because the
Sorry,
microphone's here.
residents from the initial, my name,
Yes, state your name.
Desmond Reeves.
Thank you.
Members from the initial group home, venturing to his property, to my property, at particular odd hours, well, late hours, just unusual hours for reasons, asking for rides to the liquor store corner. I was actually present for a couple when they came to his home, rides to other places and such. So that's what he was on.
Oh, so they're soliciting transportation from you?
But that was the initial home, and I'm not quite sure. I believe the residents switch out over every certain period of time. So it's not, those issues haven't, as far as I know, at least we haven't happened so much as of late. Still does, but not as much or as drastic, but it was quite drastic. Yeah. But that's all I want to say.
Okay.
I wanted to finish it.
Okay.
Andre Osborne.
Yeah, back to Mr. Osborne.
But the basic thing I'm saying is that I have no problem if they spread out, these homes and stuff. My biggest thing, like I said, I've been living over there over 35 years, and the people that we used to be a community. And we used to sit around porches, watch the kids play in the streets, and we had a community, and everything was just peaceful and quiet. I'm a type of person, I love quiet, because the problem, even right now, we have a problem with certain individuals don't have respect for people's property. The things that you got renters, I ain't got no problem with renters, moving into our area, people buying these houses and they fixing them up, don't even live here, don't even live on our street. They live clear out in the suburbs or any of those other places, but they come into our neighborhood and open these homes up or have these rentals that living in our neighborhood, and they don't even pay attention to what they're doing. You got people that come around with drugs, this and that. I have, millions of times. I got videos of people just parking in front of people's houses, just sitting out there. I done went out there a million times. I done went to several people's houses and diffused a lot of the things. See, I used to work for the sheriff department too, so I'm gonna say that too. But the whole, I'm retired now. But the whole point I'm saying is that we're trying to build up our neighborhoods, and I want to bring it back to how it used to be, where you could walk safely, walk down your street. We're working on trying to get more lighting, but I'm not going to keep on getting off the main issue. The whole main issue, I have no problem with these homes over there, but having these homes right so close, because what's going to stop once you see, we all know, once you start doing one thing, rezoning stuff, moving stuff around, what's going to stop for somebody else to put another house on the street? Before you know it, be 3, 4, 5 houses. I'm seeing areas that,
I'll clarify that for you, okay? Because it came up in other conversation. This is a zoning variance. So the zoning for the area isn't changing. What she's requesting is a variance, which we take at a case-by-case basis. So this isn't setting any precedent or making any sort of change that would open up the floodgates for other group homes to come in. So that's why we're spending time on this, because there's another group home within the 1,000-foot radius.
Well, I'm glad you clarified.
Okay.
Because that's one of my concerns too.
Yeah.
I want to turn around and one day you wake up and you got on one street or within the area, stuff. And then, because it does, people know as much as I know. We all know that certain areas would not even consider doing something like that, because that's the problem with our values of our housing. Certain things in your neighborhood that start degrading why people don't want to move into your area.
Right.
And to me, my opinion, that's only my opinion, that you start doing this, especially on our street. For me, I've been, like I said, I've been there over 35 years. And I have seen how the street has changed and things that happen, and it's still going on. And we're working on that. Some of the stuff has been corrected. People have been coming in and we've been talking and getting it straightened out. But nothing against what she's trying to do. I think it's a great thing she's doing. But my opinion is right there, so close. I think it's not a good thing to do.
And how far away are you from this address?
I'm like, I'm on 3249. I'm like, yeah, 5 houses on the opposite side.
Okay.
And then he's like right next door.
Are you right next door?
3253. Yeah. 160. So I'm 5, he's 4.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And just on the point of the variance.
Need to state your name, Mr. Reed.
Oh, Zach Reed. Just on the point of the variance, as you know, you go case by case, but as you keep allowing the variances, people start to keep asking, can they get that variance? And if we just nip it in the bud now and say we got one on the street already, it at least sends a message to others who want to come in, that it's just not gonna be allowed to keep bringing this case to
Well,
the neighborhoods.
Can I come in?
yeah, one
But
second.
like you said,
You're not sworn in, ma'am, so, sorry,
but
go
like
ahead.
you said, it will be case by case. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Right,
But a precedence needs to be set that one would be enough on a street that's trying to revitalize. I just want to read,
I know, I understand.
yes.
Okay,
Can I comment real quick?
okay, let me get another testimony in, okay?
Madam Chair, the legal standard on the screen, please.
Yes,
Thank you.
okay. All right, I think we have one more person. Lou, you're sworn in. If you can be as concise as possible for me, please.
Thank you, everybody. Good morning again. This is Lou. I'm a homeless person staying in the homeless shelter. So I have a very solid observations on how our residents in city of Cleveland lacking of the proper resources and the health and human services to actually live in the city. This particular group home, as this emails I already sent in, I even sent in a revised version this morning with the photos to show you that zoning is about land use. It's not about human behaviors. The exterior and the interior structure, they are not changed. And all the neighbors around here, lots of them also have senior citizens living in there. For all the senior people, they do have a certain needs. One important thing is they love to be around family or friends. Now, unfortunately, if you cannot afford to pay rent or mortgage, you lose housing. For you to come to the street or a homeless shelter is very difficult and damaging to the health, mental and physical. We are not only talking about emotional, not only the feelings. Physically, it will damage your health. This particular group home is the second one or the third one. It should not be the point, because you can see all the lots in this particular street. Their shape and size is not wide at the front. It's maybe long on the length. So in this case, the 1,000 feet is not very reasonable, even without any of the nursing home here, because a lot of the houses may have moms, grandmoms, grandaunts living in there. They may be emotional at certain times. They may need to go in and out to doctor's appointments. There will be no difference from the people who will come into this particular address in the future. As to the privacy, the reason we will have 2 beds in the room, that's because constantly we have lots of females. They become homeless not only by themselves, they are with their sisters or even daughters. Both can be adults and seniors. We are not going to stuff people in the house like homeless shelter, which is inhumane, unhealthy, very damaging to the residents of Cleveland. This particular group home will be just like any other houses on the street. If the people have a very severe health issues, if they have a very dramatic behaviors, they will not even be qualified to stay in a group home to begin with. They probably have to go to a different facility with a higher care. This group home is to create the home, at least a home-like environment for the people who temporarily cannot afford to rent or to continue paying mortgage, but with disability health issues to stay. They will get the support. They will get not only the resources for their health issues, it will keep them sane and healthy and to get better so they can work on the future plans for a more permanent home. Yes, you have heard. County executive and county council member visited that place because I personally invited them. But we did not know that we should send in documents to provide our support. Sorry about that. But think about the reality. Group home is not actually the issue about human behaviors. Everybody's health, everybody's mental health, physical health, emotional health are all important. If you want to be healthy, living on a peaceful, pleasant street, the people who lose the housing temporarily, they need that too. They will not really come in with all the issues some people think they may bring, because those people may not even be qualified to come into this particular little house. These people will come into house with a referral, maybe from homeless service or any other social service agencies. If their condition is really severe, they will not be referred to come here at all. This is my testimony. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lou. All right, I'm going to open it up to the board members for questions. Sorry, ma'am, you weren't sworn in, so we're not going to take that testimony. Go ahead.
For the board members?
Yeah, I'm going to ask for the questions from the board members now. Board, go ahead with your questions, please.
Madam Chair, this is Member Brown, and I do have just a few questions for Ms. Priester. One is, when did you purchase or lease this home for this particular use?
October of 2023, the homeowner is actually present. So yes, so I've been leasing it and paying rent, and no one's there, and I'm not utilizing it for my intention. So yes, ma'am.
When you leased the property, were you aware of zoning and that you needed prior variances in order to actually implement this use?
When I leased it and I went to the zoning to submit my application, he did tell me that there was a conflict within another group home and to appeal the decision. Most people do not, and that based on the board decision and upon your discretion, that the decision can be overturned, so don't be discouraged.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And did you reach out to the councilwoman or any of the neighbors or anyone in the community before you leased the property, knowing that there was zoning that prohibited your use?
No, I didn't reach out to the property until after I submitted the application. That's when I reached out to the councilwoman. I didn't know that I had to reach out to the councilwoman and the neighbors to house humans and decrease shelter homelessness. So that's why I didn't think it would be an argument of someone having mental health being neglected the opportunity for a safe home. So no, I did not.
Thank you for your reply, but you knew that there was the zoning did not provide for this use. Is that correct?
Once I was told that it did not provide, I was also recommended to reach out to the community and councilwoman. So at first I didn't know, and then I did. And when I found out the information, I did immediately. If that makes sense?
Yeah.
Sorry.
And one last, well, I don't know if it's last. My other question, Madam Chair, is that at the conclusion of our hearing in December, in addition to the community meeting, the appellant was to provide and returned with an operations plan. I looked at the information that was received this morning and I do not see an operations plan. If I am missing that in my review, I'd like for a discussion about what is the operations plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, it was received very early this morning, so,
I reviewed the documents that I
Yeah.
received. An operations plan is not in it, is my point.
right.
Am I missing an operations plan?
It's in there. It was before the budget go up, so. With the mission and values.
Is there a page of number on it?
It was like a whole bunch of pages. It was attached in the attachments.
Madam, can you ask the, Madam Chair, if the secretary received an operations plan?
Did you have an opportunity to go through this?
Yeah, I didn't really have an opportunity to go through it. Everything that she gave us is printed. I believe there was one page that, did it mention hours of operation though?
The operations page was like 10 pages.
Liz, did you read that? I did not see it. I'm asking a very specific question.
Right.
I did not read it thoroughly, so I can't answer that question.
It looked like a slideshow.
Did you send us as a link or was it one of the?
It was in the
PDFs?
attachments. I'm just gonna show you from my
Yeah,
phone.
No.
there's,
There's the title of the
Ledger-
attachment, ma'am. I'm looking at them. I don't see anything that
Yeah.
says operations
Yeah.
plan.
there's ledger pages that I'm seeing, but I'm not seeing an actual operations plan.
Shoot, it ain't attached.
Yeah. Anything
You're right,
else?
I missed the attachment, Ms. Terry, but I do have one.
Does that help, Ms. Brown?
No, I don't have one, so I
Yeah,
would
no.
not be able to make a decision today.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Ms. Wilson, Ms. Roca, Ms. Holzer?
My question was going to be around the operations plan as well, because I see a number of certifications and a resume, but did not see an actual operations plan for
Right.
the property or business.
Okay, yep. All right, Ms. Wilson, Ms. Roca, any comments?
Same comments as Ms. Holzer, Ms. Brown.
My question is around really speaking toward the legal standard.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, if the variance is not approved, can we have the appellant or even the owner, if the owner is here, speak to whether there would be a feasible use of the property without the variance? It seems to me that if it's a residential property, there could be some other way that the property could be used, but I don't know that we have testimony regarding that.
We do not. Is the owner of the building present? You're the owner. Okay, great. Ms. Wilson, we're gonna go ahead and swear her in. So she had wanted to make testimony earlier and, because she wasn't sworn in, we sort of put her on hold for a second. So, if you want to step forward, you can pull up a chair if you can. Great. Okay. All right, she's situated now, Miss Wilson, so we'll go ahead and swear her in.
Okay, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your right hand, reply with I do, your name and your address.
I do. My name is Jasmine Lyons. My address is 1479 Wilmer Road.
Jasmine, I'm sorry, could you spell your last name?
Lyons.
Great, thank you. All right. All right, Miss Wilson, would you like to address your question to Ms. Lyons?
Sure. My question is regarding the legal standard that is applicable to this case. And so there's been no testimony that says the property is not economically feasible without this variance. So can you speak to whether there are other ways that you might be able to use the property if the variance is not approved today?
Say why you support it.
So I'm supporting the group home because I do feel as if homeless people do need places to stay. The issues that the residents are stating, I went door to door myself, had conversations with these people, and I don't understand what is the problem, but I do support the group home.
She said, so if it was a no, what would you do with the property? We'll make it a roll out.
Make it a rooming house.
We'll be back for a moment. Which have different.
Did you hear that, Ms. Wilson?
It was hard to hear the last statement, if that could be repeated.
Okay, the microphone is here, ma'am, so if you could just speak up a little bit.
So the other way it will be used is it will be a rooming house, a boarding house.
Ms. Wilson, I think you're muted.
Sorry. So am I correct that I'm hearing testimony there is other feasible uses?
Yes.
Okay.
Her
thank you.
her intention is to use it as a rooming house, she said. You didn't hear that.
Well, with the zoning, that would not be allowed. Rooming house.
Right.
So what
Sure.
shared living home.
If it's under 5 people, you don't need zone.
So what,
5 people, not even-
Well, I'm not even sure if that's permissible under the zoning, but,
All right, Miss Scott was mentioning that. You want to go ahead and make a statement, please?
I do, and I recognize the issues with homelessness and housing needs. The one thing that I do want to point out about this proposed variance, and Mr. Reed touched on it a little bit, but what happens is the variance will stay with the property in perpetuity, so forever. It doesn't mean that the tenant that's renting this property out for the use that you're proposing is going to be there forever. And so it opens the opportunity for someone else to come in. The owner might sell the property. I mean, life happens. And so what we don't want to see is for an occasion where this variance is granted for this group home, and then someone less responsible than you comes in and utilizes it, and it's more,
they're not doing the right thing.
they're not doing the right thing. It just opens that opportunity. And so, Mr. Osman's point about, improving the neighborhood, the current zoning is 2-family. The proposed land use plan that was done 20 years ago, the way the community viewed it, they wanted it to be 1 and 2 families. That's kind of how in planning we look at things. It's like kind of black and white. So.
Can I ask a question? So do we even have to be rezoned if the upstairs unit is a resident?
You're not being rezoned. You're asking for a
Well,
variance.
the variance, if there's a regular residential tenant upstairs, a live-in staff, so that will have a lease agreement, so.
Madam
You see
Chair,
what I'm trying to say?
Right.
we want to be careful of giving any sort of advice. We do have somebody from the Building and Housing Department that may be able to explain if there is a difference between a rooming house and a residential facility. And you could probably clarify that for us.
Yes, none of them is permitted in family disputes. So it's time that we have to look. When the other one.
Yeah, you need to speak up a little bit because the microphone is all the way here.
We can't hear him at all.
Okay, all right, so you need to speak up.
None of these is presented issue now is permitted in family disputes.
Okay,
When it comes to human body, then we have to review it, we have to get our points. But right now, simple answer is none of them is permitted in family disputes.
did you hear that, Ms. Roca?
No, can you please paraphrase what he said?
So at this particular point in time, the zoning is for 1 and 2 family only. Any other use would have to obtain a variance. I see we have a comment from Ms. Leonard.
Yeah, I could read it into the record.
If you will read it into the record for us.
States that a rooming house is first permitted in multifamily.
Okay.
Say that again, I can't hear you.
The comment from Shannon Leonard mentions the rooming house is first permitted in multifamily residential districts.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the board? All right. Ms. Brown, Ms. Wilson, someone? Would you like to craft a motion, please?
Let's say one last thing.
Pardon?
And I'll say one last thing.
Right, okay. The appellant has one more comment. Go ahead. Be
I just
brief,
wanted
please.
I just wanted to, before you make your decisions, end with a few data points. According to HUD, there's 5,000 homeless people in our county. Mayor Justin Bibb has just started a Every Neighbor Needs Housing initiative. His goal is to reduce homeless by 25%. And he also stated that he needs 1,000 additional more supportive permanent housing in our communities. So I just wanted to make sure that I stated that, as well as the homeless senior face a mortality rate that is 4 times higher than the general population. And homeless seniors are 3 to 4 times more likely to die sooner than someone that has a home. So please just take those things into consideration. And again, I understand that there's another group home within the vicinity, but we're talking about rebuilding the community. And when I was a child, I knew my community members on my street, and my community was welcoming. So until we stop redlining ourselves, we can't expect the systems to stop redlining us as a society. Thank you all for hearing me, and I appreciate it. And I also want to ask, if the county and state do say no, I was told that you are able to gift a home through the land bank. So everything that I invested, can y'all give me a property within an area and a place that y'all deem necessary, or point me to the right resources so that I can move that stuff that I invested to somewhere else and still be able to provide that service to these women. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Ms. Brown, Councilwoman Gray has a brief statement.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, I just want to say something. What Ms.
Priester.
Priester. When she made her statement earlier concerning about my visitation at the group home, some things that she was correct to say. I did tell her I'm the council of Ward 4. I'm the council of Ward 4. I'm the council of the constituents who voted me in. So yes, I have to hear what they say to me first. I'm not against her and the group home. And I stated that to her, but the constituent voices I listened to first of their needs. And that's who brought this to my attention, not Miss Presley, not no one else in the group home. I got calls way before she brought it to my attention. So that's how I was brought in, to understand what was going on. So to that, I wasn't rude to her. Yes, I might be a little aggressive. That's my style, because I live in Ward 4, and I'm aggressive for my constituents who call me with concerns and issues that they are concerned for, because I'm their voice. And that's how I communicated. I was not disrespectful to you and your niece.
I disagree.
You can disagree all you want to.
Okay, ladies, we're not going to get into a personal thing.
Right,
here.
exactly.
We voice things back and forth at the beginning.
Exactly.
And that's all we're going to do.
So
we're going to, sorry.
So say to all that, because I specifically told the two young ladies that it's up to the constituents what they want on the street. I will not go against them. That's what I stated clearly to both of you guys in the House.
So for the record,
So
can we
how-
say how many are against it? Because
Sorry.
38 were for it. Can we
You-
say how many are against?
You cannot just
I'm sorry.
jump in like that,
I thought
okay?
he was done.
We're moving to a motion at this point,
Thank you.
okay?
Madam Chair, I prepared to make a motion.
All right.
So however.
Okay, so before us is this, this is the second time we've heard this case. There's been pro and con input. We have before us on the screen the legal standard, which is what we are ruling on today. So Ms. Roca, go ahead.
Thank you. Madam Chair, I move that we deny calendar number 23-205 based on the extensive testimony that we've heard today and also bearing in mind the legal standard.
Could I have a second, please?
Madam Chair, Member Brown, I second.
Thank you, Member Brown. Ms. Kukla, if you'll call the vote.
Thank you. Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Bates.
Yes.
Calendar number 23-205 is denied. It'll be ratified next Monday and we will send the appellant a letter.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I just want to put on the record, and you know what I work for, that my testimony is my own opinion, not the opinion of who I work for.
We took it as such, but it's on the record now, so. Okay. All right.
Madam
Okay.
Chair,
Yes, Ms. Brown.
I'd like to reinforce my comments that I've been making for quite a while, that when these cases come before us and there's another group home within the 1,000 feet area, that staff does some work about the different populations and communities that are served, that you know, I hope we don't always have an hour hearing on it in front of zoning, that more homework and conversations with the appellants could happen, that this gets addressed in the community, not just in front of us.
Thank you, Ms. Brown.
Thank you.
And Madam Chair, I'd like to also follow
Thank
up
you.
and say on the record that it would be helpful for a more comprehensive plan from the planning department be proposed or studied on residential group home facilities citywide. So would like to just put that on the record. Thank you.
Actually, that's better said than what my comments. I thank you for offering that, Member Roca. Yes, I agree.
Thank you to both of you. Ms. Scott has already made notes on that. So I think that'll be going back to the department.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
And I also second that because I've been working with Union Miles to get ahead of, to get ahead of applications coming in for group homes prior to them coming to the council, and Union Miles, for us to know that group home can come on that street, and also to do the research. And it's just not getting ahead of us first to attack this.
Would it be helpful for her to email that to the director, or?
I will communicate with the director of matter, well, no, it's today, Monday. We have a staff meeting this afternoon, so we'll bring it up, we'll raise that there. It is a larger problem than one neighborhood, one street, one
Right.
ward.
It is.
Bigger than the city of Cleveland.
It's bigger than city.
It's nationwide, and we as a city, when we're trying to address issues that impact the quality of life of residents and stakeholders in communities, we need to come up with a more comprehensive plan
Right.
to address these things.
We need a
Part of it
strategy.
is, where are these going to be located? We know that they should somehow be integrated into a community. However, there are different and varying degrees of issues with not only the subject residents, but their families.
Right.
Okay, so, and as I stated previously in the last hearing, I personally do understand the demands, the difficulties, and the nuances of dealing with homelessness, mental health issues, and all of that. So I get it, but I have a working list of things that I need to address, and I did write down homeless strategy to deal with, group homes in this whole conversation, because, this is part of the physical composition of our city. So we will take a look at it.
Madam Chair, not to belabor the point, but if I might, I think while we're, as a community, doing what Ms. Scott suggested and finding ways for good solutions for the people who need it and the communities that will receive the housing and create community around it. We need to make sure that the people who are administering these programs and the building and housing people are not giving bad advice that just ask for a variance and you'll get it, or buy a house and you can run a program, run a house, that there has to be a process here. And so I want people like Ms. Priester to be informed before they make investments. It's only fair.
It's only fair.
Totally agree, Ms. Brown. Thank you for that. All right, go ahead.
In response to,
You need to speak up again because the mic is
in
here.
response to the last speaker, yes, building a housing advice, but give them the option if you want to apply.
Okay.
Because you cannot just call it just like that. They don't know you are disqualified. It's not in our position to give them that information.
Thank you.
Okay.
We always tell them it's 50-50. You want to try, but it's not permitted.
Okay, thank you. All right. I think we are ready to move on. Board, do you have any other questions or comments to this case? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Lou.
You're welcome.
All right. Mr. Bay, do we have any other council people?
I did not see.
Thanks, Kim.
I did not see any of the council members present.
All right. All right, Ms. Holzer, we'll loop back to the top of the agenda. So we'll go to 24-012, please.
Sure thing. Our next case is calendar number 24-012. It's at 3692 East 147th Street. Luke Metz, owner, proposes to change the use of an existing two-family residence to a three-family residence in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are two. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. Madam Chair, I'm not seeing anyone in the room. Is there anyone in the room wishing to speak in this matter?
Not for this case. I only have one person left.
Okay.
He is for this case.
Anyone online wishing to speak in this matter?
Yeah, this is Luke Metz.
Yes, you good.
Sir, we can't hear you, so you'll need to speak up.
Oh, there you are. Okay. All right, I'm going to swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your right hand. Reply with I do, your name and your address.
I do. Luke Metz, 710 Monte Vista Avenue, Ventura, California.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in this matter? All right, back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. All right, history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1924, a permit was issued to erect a dwelling and a garage. There are no variances on file, and then in our Acela system, we did find that in 2005, a permit was issued to demolish a garage on the site. And in 2018, a permit was issued for interior alterations to install drywall. That's all that I have. That's relevant, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance and an area variance from the maximum gross floor area requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship, particular to the property, such that there will be no economic and feasible use of the property without the variance, deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you very much. Mr. Metz, tell us what you'd like to do as it relates to the variances that you're seeking.
Sure. Can you hear me okay? I just want to make sure of that first.
Much better now, thank you.
Okay, good. Yeah, apologies for that. So we purchased this building back in 22. We've done work to it. Our main focus is for CMHA housing, Section 8 housing. We've got 2 tenants right now on the first and second unit. We'd like to convert the attic into a 1-bedroom apartment, basically is what it will work out to. Some blueprints were submitted. The rough layout is just over 600 square feet is how it would work out. There is a substantial amount of yard in the back, and we would be more than accommodating to a minimum of 3 cars.
Is there an existing garage?
There is no garage.
Is there a pad?
There is a pad. There is a pad for 2 cars right now. It would be extended out, either gravel, most likely, with an extension of concrete to accommodate the 3 cars. Preference is to have all the cars off the street. Personal preference is to have all the cars off the street and have them all parked in the back, so it's, it's just safer and they don't have to worry about anything. But there is street parking.
And what's the situation with the utilities as they exist now?
Nothing as of yet.
Okay, so you do not have a meter, you don't have meters for gas or electric at this point?
No, no.
Okay. Is the 3rd floor now just rough attic?
It is. It is, and so the goal would be to build it out and to have electrical, have water, obviously, and we wouldn't pursue a gas meter for the 3rd floor. We would just keep it as electric heat.
All right, so it'd be electric. And it's not obviously plumbed either at this point?
No.
Okay. What's the egress situation?
There's 2 doors. As far as there's 2 doors that one leads to the 1st floor, one leads to the 2nd floor. There's also a switchback staircase on the side of the building. And sorry to correct myself, there is some plumbing that goes to the base of the attic, but it's stopped. And switching back. So on the side of the building, there is a switchback staircase that goes to the 1st floor, to the 2nd floor, and then also up to the attic.
Okay, so there's egress on the back of the building and then an internal staircase to the front?
There's on the side of the building, there's egress and also on the front, not on the back.
Okay,
That's something we'd have to accommodate.
all right. Okay, board questions, comments?
2 questions from me, Member Brown. Is the property occupied currently on the 1st and 2nd floor?
Yes.
And oh, I forgot the other. Oh, is there a site plan for the third floor? I see the first
There's a
two
blueprint.
floors.
What we're seeing right now isn't it. There is a blueprint. Unfortunately, and I'm hoping that you guys have a copy. If not, I can email it to you. But what it is it's a very distinct blueprint showing the living room, the bedroom, the kitchen, the bathroom, where the stairs lead into it. It didn't have.
Do we have that, Madam Secretary and City Planning?
Right. Mr. Bay, did we receive that?
I don't have it.
It was submitted when I went over to the
Remember
appeals
seeing
office.
it?
Yes.
One moment.
Yes, Madam Chair, we do have it in the file. How do we get it to the board members?
Just sent him an email.
One moment.
I could scan it and send it to you if you want.
Okay, that is being scanned so that it can be dispersed to you, board. Let's go ahead. If you have other questions or comments, we can move forward on that while we're waiting.
Madam Chair, I just have one question.
Go ahead.
With respect to any windows on the third floor, are those all operable and open and
There's going to be
closed?
2 windows in the front, 1 window in the back, and yes, they're all going to be operable.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, what is the hardship in this case?
Mr. Metz, do you want to respond to that? Can you tell us what the hardship is?
We're trying to provide housing for Section 8. So that's the focus.
Okay.
What's the hardship? That's the opportunity. I don't understand.
Well, the hardship in this scenario would be that if we weren't able to get this converted, then it would be one less location for housing for CMHA voucher people.
Would you like to weigh in, building and housing or city planning while we're waiting?
I can speak for the city planning.
You're gonna have to speak up, Xavier.
Hello, this is Xavier Bay, representing city planning. We would recommend approval for this variance as the administration
I
is.
can't hear him.
Yeah, I'll come closer.
Is that even on?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Hello, this is Xavier Bay, representing city planning. The administration is supportive of gentle density, so we see no issue recommending approval for this case. Also, I spoke with the neighborhood planner for this area, and she had the same diagnosis. You know that where the mayor is pushing for density, and this is an opportunity for lower income housing.
Who is the city planner for this?
Kim Scott.
Oh, Kim Scott is also the city planner for this area.
Great, thank you for informing me of that. May I ask one more question, Madam Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to know how this property is managed.
I have a property manager, Fresh Coast Realty. His name is John Currid. He's based in the Cleveland area.
Cleveland area, where is he based, located?
He lives in Mayfield Heights. He works out of his home, and he will eventually be having an office in North Collinwood.
Mr. Metz, do you own? Mr. Metz, do you own other properties in Cleveland?
We do.
Are they in
How
this
many?
area?
Just a few, a couple of single family homes, one in Cleveland Heights, another one in, my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Bedford, and then we have this duplex in Ward 2, and we have another project that we're working on that will also be going towards Section 8 housing in Ward 6 on Grandview, and that's been a heck of a challenge. It's condemned. We've just barely got the approval to start doing the work to get that reversed, and so right now I'm out here for about 3 months out of the year. My wife's not really excited about it, but there's good opportunity here to help out, so we're doing what we can.
Okay. All right, they should have it.
Madam Chair, we're having technical difficulties, but this was sent in the packet.
Okay.
That was sent over in the Dropbox link. So if the board members were to click on the 24-012, it's page 4 in that document.
All right, board, are you able to access that?
Yes.
All right, great. All right, any other further questions or comments? Now that you've taken a look at the plan? If not, I'll entertain a motion, please.
Madam Chair, this board member Roca, based on the testimony that we've heard today, I move that we approve calendar number 24-012.
Thank you. Could I have a second?
Board Member Wilson, I will second the motion.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Ms. Kukla, you'll call the vote.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Holter?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Bates?
Yes.
Calendar number 24-012 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday. We will send the appellant a letter. Please feel free to contact our office for further instructions next Wednesday.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to 24-013.
Madam Chair.
All right, we
Our
have one
next-
person in the room for this case. All right, go ahead, sorry.
Our next case is calendar number 24-013. It's at 506 Literary Road. Richard Lally, owner, proposes to erect a one-story one-story single-family residence with attached garage in a B1 multifamily residential district. The owner appeals to relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 3, with a note that traffic engineering approval is required for the drive apron width. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Thank you. You can sit down if
I
you'd
want
like.
to pass you these
Okay,
couple
you
photographs.
can give them to
Good
Ms.
morning to
Kukla.
everybody.
Thank you.
1 second, Ms. Wilson.
I'm not sure if you made it to the site, but this explains a little more
Okay,
of what's going on there.
all right, we're gonna swear you in once you get comfortable. All right, Ms. Wilson.
All
We're
right.
ready to go.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll swear in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your right hand, reply with I do, your name, and your address.
I do, Richard Lally, 12900 Lake Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44107, Lakewood, Ohio, 44107.
Okay, can you spell your last name, please?
Lally, not like the trolley.
Good thing I asked. Okay, is there anyone online who wishes to speak in this matter? All right, I don't see anyone, so I'll hand it back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. All right, we'll take history of the property, please.
Thank you. This property was originally zoned general retail in 1929. In 1962, it was changed to multifamily residential. In our records room administration office, we found that in 1889, a permit was issued to erect a two-story dwelling. There is one variance on file in calendar 19-19. A variance was granted to erect a three-story two-family dwelling. That was effective on March 18th, 2019. And then in the more recent history, we see, this was 2009. A permit was issued for a residential demolition. But then we see that there were interior permits issued after that.
Okay.
So they remodeled nothing, sorry.
What's legal standard, please?
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting area variances from the required rear yard and interior side yard requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Great, thank you. Okay, Mr. Lally, you're on.
First off, I'd just like to ask if you received any kind of a written correspondence from the Bellamos, Dominic and Irene. They're the immediate neighbors to the east. And they're supporting what I'm doing. You'll see in the one of the photographs I gave you, but they called yesterday and Michael's taking treatments. He had to go to the hospital yesterday, so he won't be, they plan to be present. That's probably, if you don't have anything in writing, that's what happened.
Yeah, we don't.
Did we get an
do not have
email?
anything in writing.
Did we get a voice message or anything?
I don't believe so. Okay, I'll have to confirm that with Ms. Jones.
All right.
If there's something in writing required, I can get that.
Okay.
Okay,
We might make that a condition, but we'll
that's fine.
go forward and see where we're at.
Okay. The other item is, I purchased the property from the land bank. And to be able to take the next step to purchase the property, they reviewed my plans and approved those. And that, at that point, showed the garage 6 feet from the, what I'll call the alley. So it was approved at that time. I don't know which one you want to address first out of these two.
Well, let's do number one first.
Okay. Just a little history. I'll be quick. 23 years ago, I built a townhouse in the Flats, 2,400 square feet, and I was one of the first townhouses, single family, to be built 4 stories. So I had grown used to 2,400 square feet. That was really my retirement, was built for that reason. And 2 years ago, I sold it with the dreams of living in a ranch, because 50 steps to the top floor got to be a little bit too much.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the purpose of the garage. Without that last 20 feet, I wouldn't be able to do a garage. And I think that qualifies as a hardship. That's the number one item. Number two, when the Bellamos built their house, they have a wider lot and they push their garage towards the east. And you can see it in this one photo that I submitted. So I took the advantage to move 2 feet closer to that, still maintaining 6 feet of side yard requirement on both sides of the house. This one item, let's see, one of them stated incorrectly. So my house proposed on the west side has 3 feet, and on the east side has 3 feet until you get to the garage. And that's the only portion that moved closer to the property line. It's a foot off the property line, but it still maintains, as shown on the drawing, 6 feet from their garage to my garage. So in the event of firefighters, they have that whole 6 feet. They can get to the back of the property on both sides of the house.
Okay, so we have 6 feet between the garages and then you're 1 foot off the property line?
At that point, only at the garage.
Only at the garage?
You can see the fat part on the right at the top,
Okay,
and it's clear there in the photograph.
all right. Okay, so,
I would not consider building the house without a garage, if I didn't already say that,
okay,
as a ranch.
okay. Did you have anything else to cover with regard to the,
This one photograph shows all the garage, 4 or 5 garages to the west of me are 6 to 6.5 feet. In the bottom of the photograph, you can see a yellow tape, and it's been stopped at 6 feet. And then shortly in front of that, where there's a dark spot, and down the photograph, there's a very faint little V with a hole. That's 6.5 feet. That's my back corner of my property.
okay, so that red landmark, the red landmark parking paint spot?
Yeah, yours is in color, so that's, on this, it's not
Oh,
red.
right, you're in grayscale there. Okay. Okay. All right, anything else?
Nothing for me.
Okay, board, questions, comments? Ms. Roca, you look like you want to say something?
I was just straining to see the plans.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I guess, just a point of clarification from the appellant. Can you further enlighten us on the difficulty you will face if these variances aren't approved today?
The terms of moving within a foot of the property line, 17 feet for the inside dimension of the garage is too narrow for 2 cars. So that's one of the issues there. I live with a too narrow garage in the flats because of, not that it's related, but because of requirements. So I know what that's all about.
And this is going to be single floor ranch
Correct.
style?
Yes.
Are you gonna occupy this?
Yes.
Okay, so are you planning on aging in place then? Is that
Yes.
part of the intent?
Yes.
Okay.
For the last 15 years in my 4-story, and I'm an architect by trade, my studio is on the 4th floor.
Okay,
I dreamt about a ranch home 1 floor. So that's what this is.
okay.
And this seems like a very narrow lot. Is this typical for the area? Do you know? I mean,
Yes, yes,
you're
it
an
is.
architect.
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's challenging to work on because of its narrowness, but it is what it is.
Do you have this street that's gonna dead end right into the front of your house?
No, at the front of my house is literary.
Show the front on the screen, please.
There's do you have all my drawings loaded in that?
I think,
There's elevations in there.
yeah,
Okay, so on the far left, the house is 19 feet wide and it has a projecting deck in the front. And it has biparting sliding glass doors. And to the main entrance to the residence is on the left and the door is about halfway back in the plan. So that's the front of the house. Both elevations from where I'm sitting, they're very similar. One has a man door, which is the main entrance And then in the rear, you see a double car garage overhead door. You can see the garage is a lower elevation, which makes it distinctive from the house itself.
Is that all glazing then?
Is it glazed?
Is it
No,
all glazing? No,
No.
on the body of the house.
no, it's a cement board, both vertical on the lower 8 feet and then horizontal above.
Okay, all right.
There are windows. There's, I can't see it from here, but there's 2 on the side in the living room and 2 on the side in the bedrooms, and they're floor to ceiling. They're 3 feet wide and 8 feet high. And the ones in the bedroom, there you go, you can see it better. But the ones in the bedrooms, those operating sash or emergency exit in the event of a fire, they're required by code.
Okay, so they're egress.
Yes. Same windows are on the other side. The other side doesn't have that main entrance door. There it is. I'm still not yet decided on what the exterior, I said cement panels, which is what I have on Riverbed Street in the flats, which I really liked. It's not a final decision, and the drawings will be submitted for permit, and at that point, I'll make a decision on what it's gonna be.
Okay, so
The-
right now you think you're using hardy board?
Yeah, hardy panel and hardy board siding, yes.
Okay, all right.
The site is, the house you'll enter, floor will be 9 inches above grade. The opposite side of the site, as you can see in the sections, drops off 2 to 3 feet. It's not only narrow, but it's difficult to build on because of its changing elevation, so,
The grade
Just a
slope
challenge.
that much and that
Yes.
width, huh?
yeah.
That's challenging.
Yeah, but I did, fortunately, I purchased the property through the procedure that you need to go through for a very nice price for what sites are selling for in Tremont, so
Yeah,
I'm willing to deal with the challenges.
well, and you have the skill set to do that, so that's good. Anything else, Ms. Roca, or anyone else? Ms. Wilson, anything?
No, I'm prepared to make a motion if we're going in that direction.
I'm gonna let city planning chime in and then we'll let you go.
Okay,
Well-
very good.
Mr. Bay?
Hello, it's Xavier Bay representing city planning. Typically, we don't recommend approval for 1-foot side yards, but it does assist the applicant that there's 6 feet actually between the garage and the next structure. So that's let me see, number 2. Number 1, the rear yard, we don't have an issue with the rear yard that they're proposing. It's very similar up and down that alleyway of Novak Alley. Very similar context for the garages. Yeah, the main, I guess, push point we really have about the house is just the door going on the side, but that's not really our purview for this case. Yeah, I mean, that's all I really have to say about this one.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Ms. Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Based on the testimony that we have heard today, I would move that we approve calendar number 24-013.
Thank you. Could I have a second?
Madam Chair, Board Member Roca, I second.
Okay, Ms. Roca for the second. Would you like to call the vote, please?
Sure. Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Bates?
Yes.
Calendar number 24-013 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday, and we will send the appellant a letter. Please feel free to contact our office next Wednesday for further instructions.
Thanks to everyone, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good afternoon.
You
Will
too.
Somebody stamp my parking sticker for that first one that went.
I know.
Thank you.
We should have had coffee and donuts for that, shouldn't we?
If I'd have known, I'd have brought it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So we're on to calendar number 24-016.
All right. Our next case is calendar number 24-016. It's at 4720 West 146th Street. Laura Sudbury, owner, proposes to install a 6-foot-high wood fence in an A1 one-family residential district. The owner appeals freely from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. Madam Chair, am I correct that there is no one in the room for this matter?
You are not for this case, are you? Are you our observer?
I'm observing.
Okay. All right, we
I am
only
here
have,
for the case.
we only have the observer here for the, in the room now, so.
All right, perfect. I will turn to those of you who are online and who wish to speak in this matter. I will swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your right hand. Reply with I do, your name, and your address.
I do. Derek McNamara, 6610 Virginia Avenue, Parma, Ohio, 44129.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in this matter?
I do. Laura Sudbury, 4720 West 146th Street, Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay, thank you.
I
Is there anyone
do.
else?
I
Mhm.
do. My name is Tony Jones. I work at Jefferson Puritas Development Corporation, 14703 Puritas, Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in this matter? All right, looks like that might be it. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Okay, who's gonna be the spokesperson? Well, hang on one second. Let me do history of the property.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. We didn't find any records in our Records Administration Office. There are no variances on file. And in the more recent history, we found, starting in 2015, there were rental registration issued to the property. We see the last one was in 2019. That's all that's relevant.
Okay, all right. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting area variances from the fencing requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Great, thank you. All right. So now, who's gonna be the spokesperson?
I will. Derek McNamara.
Okay, Mr. McNamara, go ahead.
What we're looking to do is, if you see in the pictures, the existing white fence that is along the side of the property there, what she's looking to do is replace the existing wood fence with the same style wooden fence, a privacy 6 foot tall. And what it would be doing is it would box out around the tree. So right now it kind of goes in front of the tree and dead ends into the driveway. What we're looking to do is box it out around the tree and go around to the driveway and across that walkway and end up at the garage. So essentially we're looking to put it in the exact same spot. The issue is, you know, with it being so close to the street to meet the original zoning requirements, she would have to have, 75% visibility through the fence. And that doesn't work because she has a dog, and that's the idea, to keep the dog in the yard.
What kind of dog do you have?
I have a part German Shepherd.
Okay,
He is for my seizures.
okay. All right. So it looks like on the plan, you're gonna go around back of the tree?
Correct. Yeah. Typically, I know, like, if say we were trying to go in front of the tree, you have to do what's called like a safety triangle, or you angle that last panel so that way when someone's backing out of the driveway, you have that visibility. But due to the tree being there, angling a panel is not an option. So that's why we're just boxing out around the tree, which should give it more than enough visibility, because that's the same visibility that she's already dealing with in the first place.
Okay. All right.
And then I just want to note too, in the pictures, because there was some confusion with some people I spoke with about this with the city. The chain link fence that's running along the side of the house after the wood fence that goes towards the front of the property, that's not getting replaced. That's going to get removed, and the fence is only going to stop at the rear of the house, if that makes sense.
So that existing chain link, if we're looking at it on the plan view here, it looks like it goes all the way around the perimeter of the front, is that right?
The chain link pop, no, let me see. The chain link goes down the side and it ends in the front corner of the house. And then, so right there, exactly. So that'll be coming out. And then if you see where the chain link meets the wood fence, that's where a gate is going to go, right where the dog's pictured.
Okay,
Correct. So it'll start at the back left corner of the house, right where your cursor is, connect into that wood fence. Like we'll build the wood fence in the exact same spot. It'll run all the way down towards the driveway. Right before we get to the tree, we're going to box out around the tree, go across the walkway by the garage, and it'll end into the front right corner of the garage.
okay. And there's no sidewalk, right?
Correct.
There's-
Only in the front of the house,
there-
I think there is.
Okay, and there's, because it's industrial across the street?
Correct.
Okay. And there's the guardrail on that side. All right.
Correct.
Questions, board? All right, we had Tony from the CDC. Do you want to make comment?
Hi, thank you, Madam Chair. So, I think the contractor did a pretty good job with the explanation. Just so you know, Justin is a street that does border residential as well as commercial along the street. And I don't know if you received my email, but there's 4 different houses that have the same type of fences being proposed, that I'm assuming has been erected a while ago, just due to the age. Miss Sudbury wanted to replace her fence, so she goes ahead and tries to pull a permit, which stemmed this meeting. And in good faith, she did not know that, there's been some zoning requirements, but I just want to let you know that it's been practiced throughout the street. So a lot of people do that for safety. There are a few of them that actually have a guardrail in front of it, just so that a car does not go through into their house, just making the turn. And she is at a corner house. So we are in full support of her. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tony. City planning, you want to chime in on this?
Carry up from over here. Yep, Xavier Bay representing city planning. We don't see it typically. In these cases, we recommend, like the contractor mentioned, to make a safety corner. As you can see, they're replicating that same effect by going around the tree. So we don't see an issue with recommending approval for this fence.
Okay, any questions or comments, board? Go ahead, sir.
What the tree is within the property line?
Yes.
Why not take down the tree?
I don't think they want to take down the tree. The question was, what about taking down the tree?
I mean, sure. Is the city going to pay for it?
Thank you.
We would
I
love
think-
for that to happen. Sign
I
us
think-
up.
Yeah, I think that answers the question.
It's a large tree. If it was something that was small, we could handle it. But it is a massive tree.
Yeah,
You can see in the pictures.
Yeah. Do you know what?
And I would say, I would just like to point out that keeping the tree aligns with the city's tree coalition plans and making sure that we remain a forest city and protect the tree canopy in all instances as we can as possible. So just wanted to note that the city's does have plans protecting trees. Protecting trees.
Thank you for bringing that up, Ms. Roca, because we're both very aware of the city and the county plans for reforestation. So you probably could get a free tree actually if you wanted to add more. So okay, anything else?
I don't know for sure. I can't tell if this is an oak or not, but it looks like it might be a very old mature oak. So I applaud the appellants for maintaining the tree.
Yeah, that was my guess on the species too. So, yep. Okay, so anything else? I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, Member Brown, I move approval of calendar 24-016, applauding the homeowner for maintaining the beautiful oak tree.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'll take a second, please.
Board Member Roca, I second.
Thank you, Ms. Roca. We'll call the vote.
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Bates.
Yes.
Calendar number 24-016 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday, and we will send the appellant a letter. But please feel free to contact our office on Wednesday of next week for further instruction.
Thank you. We appreciate all your help.
Thank you. Good luck with the project, and you have a beautiful dog.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We both appreciate it.
Thank you for your approval.
You're welcome. Okay, moving on, Ms. Holzer.
Our next case is calendar number 24-004. This is at 2819 Monroe Avenue. Zachary and Caitlin Rooker, owners, propose to erect a two-story frame single-family residence with a one-story frame detached garage in a B1 two-family residential district. The owners appeal for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 4, with a note that traffic engineering approval of the apron is required before issuance of a building permit. This case was postponed from February 5th, 2024. Testimony was taken at that time. The case was postponed to allow time for the appellant to research the front setback issue. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Ms. Wilson, it appears you might be muted.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Apologies.
We're on a roll, and I didn't want to interrupt you, but we couldn't hear you.
I was on a roll. Okay, I will swear in all who are present for this case. I don't see anyone in the room, so we only have one person online. Are you here, Ms. Brandt, for this case?
Yes, I
Okay,
am.
perfect. I see your hand. Thank you. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your right hand, reply with I do, your name, and your address.
I do. My name is Jill Brandt, and my business address is 2200 Worcester Road.
Okay. Thank you. And just for the record, can you spell your last name for us, please?
Brandt.
Thank you. All right, I see another hand up. I will go ahead and swear you in, please, Ms. Rooker.
I do. Caitlin Rooker, 2819 Monroe Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44113.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in this matter?
Yes,
Okay, go ahead and swear in.
I do. Zach Rooker, 2819 Monroe Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44113.
Okay, thank you. I see another hand. Go right ahead.
Swelly Esposito, 3302 Hancock Avenue. I do. I'm with the Brandt Architecture team.
Okay, can I just have you spell your name for the record, please?
ESPOSIPO.
Okay. Anyone else wishing to speak in this matter? All right, hearing none, back to you, Madam Chair.
Great, thank you. All right, do we have anything to add to the history of the property?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay, and would you like to just update us on legal standard?
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting area variances from the maximum gross floor area, required front yard setback, and interior side yard encroachment requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Great, thank you. All right, who's our spokesperson?
I am.
Okay, if you could just speak up a little bit for us, that would be great. And then go ahead and address your variance issues, please.
Thank you.
One item I would like to note, though, is we are no longer seeking a variance for the air conditioning unit that was moved to the rear of the property within the 3-foot setback.
Okay, so that's number 3, correct?
That is correct, yes.
All right, so number 3 has been stricken from the list as that's been taken care of. All right, go ahead.
Thank you. So the first item is the lot coverage and the gross square footage of the property. You know, really, we're just designing a new home on a rather small lot to be commensurate in scale with other homes in the neighborhood. And we feel that the size and the use of this property is appropriate. We have done design elements, as you can see in some of the building elevations, to reduce the mass and to keep the scale in harmony with the neighborhood. So we feel that this is an appropriate request.
Okay, so that's item number 1, and I think we're really, the front yard setback was really what sent you to the postponement?
That is correct, yes. So we spoke quite a bit with the city departments to confirm that we are all on the same page as far as how the section of the code is interpreted, making sure our measurements are the same as far as adjacent properties and what the calculated setback is. So from our understanding, it is the required setback is the 9.62 feet, and using the exception for the calculated angle setback, we are permitted 6 feet 6.5 inches, and that is what we are requesting today. The current structure on the street is 5'6" from the property line, so we are actually moving a little further back from what the current conditions are. And I think you can see on that site plan, you know, where we are relative to the adjacent home. So I don't think that what our request is dramatically changing the character of the street, and is certainly in keeping with the neighborhood.
Okay. And then, have you had city planning approval as yet?
That I don't believe. I think this was our first stop, I believe.
Okay, 1 second. We have Miss Leonard from city planning with a comment online.
Good morning, Madam Chair. So we have worked with Ms. Brandt extensively regarding this, as well as with Mary from the law department regarding the setback that they're requesting. And we are on the same page that the setback that they're requesting from you based on the second exception in the Board of Zoning Appeals as it relates to being able to grant a variance is on the same page here. And so Mary can confirm that measurement, but it is my understanding that we have reached the same number and you all are able to grant a variance. We support that.
Great, thank you for making that clear. Do you have anything to add to that, Mary?
Nope, that is correct.
Okay, super, wonderful. Okay, so city planning, do you have anything further to add?
No, Shannon summarized that perfectly. She also mentioned that we recommend support for approval for this variance.
Okay, great. Board, any questions or comments? Everyone's chiming in at the same time. All right. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion. Ms. Wilson, would you like to take this one? Or Ms. Roca?
Sure, I can take this.
All right.
Madam Chair, based on the testimony we've heard today and the appellants working with the City Planning Department on amending their application to conform with the required setbacks, I move that we approve this calendar number.
Thank you, Ms. Roca. Could I have a second, please?
Member Brown, I second.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Ms. Kukla, if you want to call the vote.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Broca,
Yes.
Ms. Faith.
Yes.
Calendar number 24-004 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday. We will send the appellants a letter, but please contact our office on Wednesday for further instruction.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good luck on the project.
Good luck with your house.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Holzer, I think we're down to the last one.
I think so. Our last case of the day is calendar number 23-224. I'm going to read as slow as possible so that the PowerPoint can catch up. This case is at 4308 Franklin Boulevard. Oh Dear Productions, LLC proposes to establish use as an inn/hotel with 4 guest rooms, a museum, and event space for cultural activities and movie screenings, and a retail gift shop in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 3. This case was postponed from January 22nd, 2024. No testimony was taken at that time. It was postponed at the request of the appellant due to a scheduling conflict. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. I will swear in all who are present for this case. Not seeing anybody in the room, so if there's anyone online, please use the raise hand feature. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? I'll start with the raised hand that I see here. The screen name is Kit. Go ahead and swear in for us.
Can you hear?
I can hear you.
Okay, so I am Chiara Donna Dalle Rose, and I'm with Pascal Lejeune. We're owners of the Franklin Castle, the property at 4308 Franklin Castle, Franklin Boulevard, sorry, Cleveland, 44113.
Okay, and can I have you spell your name, please?
So the family name is Donna Dalle Rose.
Okay, and do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. Is the person sitting next to you going to speak as well?
Is mostly, I guess, to say hello and to present our work since 2011 in restoring the building.
Okay, why don't
It's
we
just-
swear that person in too if he's going to speak?
Okay.
Okay, so my name is Pascal Lejeune.
And I do.
I do.
Okay, can you spell your name for us and state your address?
Legeune, and it's 4308 Franklin Boulevard.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much. Anyone else wishing to speak in this matter?
We would like to have Jens Klein in our team and Julie Stenwald, where Jens is a partner and Julie and Ivan are architects.
Okay, why don't we start with you, Julie? We'll go ahead and swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your right hand, reply with I do, your name and your address. I can't hear. Oh, you're on mute. Can you do that again, please?
Sure, sorry. Julia Steigerwald, 4302 Clinton Avenue, Cleveland.
Thank you very much. Did you say I do?
Oh, I do, sorry.
Okay, perfect, no problem. All right, I see your hand as well. Your screen name is Jens. Can you tell us your name, please?
Yeah, I do. And my name is Jens Klein, 4308 Franklin Boulevard in Cleveland, Ohio, 44113.
Okay, very good. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in this matter?
If
All right,
Yvonne
go ahead and
wants.
swear in.
Yes, Ivan Cordeiro, Europe.
Who is that?
It's Ivan Cordeiro from Europe.
I need you to speak up just a little bit more, please.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, is that better?
A
Is
little
that better?
bit, a little
Okay,
bit.
let's see if I can adjust something here. That, is that better? Is that better?
That is improved, yes.
Okay, okay, so it's Ivan Colero from Europe.
Okay, can you spell your last name for us, please?
Coleiro.
Okay. And do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to give is
Yes.
going to be the truth?
I do.
Okay, very good. Anyone else wishing to speak in this matter? All right, looks like that is it. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Could I have the history of the property, please?
Madam Chair, this property was originally zoned multifamily in 1929. In 1985, it was changed to two-family residential. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1897, a permit was issued to erect a dwelling addition. 1978, a permit was issued to change use from one dwelling unit, one assembly room, and one club room to two dwelling units. There are 3 variance cases on file in calendar 73-98. This board denied a request to sell used furniture on site. 1987 in calendar 87-157, a variance was granted to erect a 6-foot-high wrought iron fence. And in 2011 in calendar 11-119, this board granted a variance to establish use as 3 dwelling units. And at that time, they were converting a carriage house at the rear to one of the residential units. And then, Madam Chair, in the more recent history, we see that in let me go back a little bit further. 2010, violation notice was issued to the property, and then we see in 2011, there were interior and exterior alterations to correct violations. And then, Madam Chair, more recently in 2023, a complaint was made regarding illegal use, and a month later, a violation notice was issued. I'm sorry, there's not much details on those. And that's all that I have. Thank you, Madam.
So we don't know the nature of the illegal use.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
We don't know the nature of the illegal use.
No, I did not.
Okay. And then what came after that? Was it
There was
same year?
There was a violation notice issued in January of 2023, and the state's status is still open.
Okay. Is this what we know as the Franklin Castle?
Yes, I believe so,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. All right, legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the Board of Pelham is requesting use variance and area variances from minimum distance and parking requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, the appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. All right, who is going to be the spokesperson?
That would be me.
All right. So we have several people. I'm just going to remind folks, when you make a statement, please state your name before you make a statement, so that our court reporter, who is working virtually, can make sure that she has everyone's statement attributed to the correct person. All right, so go ahead.
Okay, good. Yeah, I have a bit of a hard time at the volume is a little bit low what comes through the iPad over here. I think that Chiara can do an opening kind of introduction to what we have in mind, and then from there on I would lead to Julie, and then afterwards to Ivan, and then so forth. Chiara, you want to open with your opening statement?
If I may speak, yes. Okay, can I go ahead?
Yes, you can go ahead. Just state your name and then go ahead and make your statement.
So I am Chiara, Donna dalle Rose. First of all, I would like to say that it comes as a surprise in the sense I don't know what to answer on the 2023 violations because I don't think we did. I mean, I'm not aware we did violations. This is a two-family house. At some point it was three-family, but then we posed on the carriage house, so it became two-family again. And there's only one tenant, is Jens. And we did a little bit of Airbnb within the 99 days and the 2 units, three rooms. So we'll go on from there, but I don't know what the violation is. And okay, so today we're submitting a request to the Board of Zoning for relief from a strict residential to family use. Our proposal is to offer a private museum with a semi-private museum with a library in the main hall area only, which was restored for that purpose, and he's already complying with the strict building and fire code for that use. It was planned and made with materials and passed fire inspections with the double firewalls rated for museum use back in 2017, I believe, or 16. So throughout the last century, the house hosted organizations such as the German Singing and Dancing Hall, and even a church in 68. So the vocation of this hall has always been to gather people, even though in a private way, meaning it's not general public, it's just people wanting to visit and reserving and being subscribed members like of a library. Our goal is to revive this tradition with a Center for the Study of European Culture and Folklore in order to complete the circle of the restoration effort, bridging the gap between two continents and culture, between America and the European continent. Jens, being from Suderau, is the same county as Johannes Tiedemann, who built the house. He's exactly from the same village, which is incredible. And our goal when we went through the very long years since 2011 of the building was gutted. So when we went through the whole restoration process, we kept in mind with the Amish also all the real materials they would have used in Germany in that area. We even did some of the iconography of the paintings and so on. So our real wish, our dream is to bring, to make it into a place where people could even come and consult the library to see travel guides or historical books about Europe and bridge this gap between the northern part. There's a lot of German immigrants also in that area in Ohio, and the old folk traditions from where it originated in Europe, so that it's not just a haunted house, but it can also have some interesting cultural thing. So our team is Jens and Ashley McKee, and Ivan from Malta is an architect who has helped us to rationalize and look at this the plans for this, and also Julie, who I'm going to hand over the presentation to, who is in the neighborhood and is an architect as well. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Julie?
Hi.
Go ahead.
Hi. Okay. I was brought onto the project a while ago to help with some of the zoning issues. And I think that the definition of what was going on at the castle was not really accurate. And to say that it's a hotel is not accurate. They have been, I live literally directly north of the castle. I look out my front door and see it. And I walk by there all the time with my dog, and I never knew that anything was going on there. I never knew anything that I was not aware of any activity there. And they have been using it as a bed and breakfast, basically adhering to the Cleveland rules of only 90 days. And they would like to be able to extend that for many reasons, one of which is to be able to support the maintenance of the castle. But their programming is, I think, pretty amazing. They've done a wonderful creative job, and they really want to keep the whole thing small. I presented it to the Block Club, and we didn't have a second presentation. And at that time, Jens couldn't be there because I think it was at their really busy Halloween season. But, and the Block Club did not vote on it, but in general, it seemed that people were very much in favor of it. And the castle did do tours for people in the neighborhood after that. They've done an amazing job of restoring the castle. Evidently, there was a fire in 2011, and they have used the original materials. It's really incredibly beautiful, and I'm sure it's been extremely expensive. And they have appeared to really be working hard to be good neighbors and be very considerate of the neighborhood, and also making a positive contribution. And I think that they evidently have visitors really from all over the world. And it is somewhat of a hardship for them being next to, they're located next to St. Herman's, and then just right across the street is St. Paul's. So there's a large homeless population that is in the area. And they do struggle a lot with vandalism on the building. And so having someone there is very beneficial for that. And I don't know if there's anything else I need to say at this point. Maybe I've covered some things I shouldn't have, or that other people wanted to cover, but I'll let the next person go.
It was great. Ivan, you want to talk a little bit about the Franklin Castle project? That would be on slide 5. I think we already have it up here.
Yes, okay. Is the voice okay this way? Or still a problem? Okay, good. So voice is okay. If you look at the plans, this is a project where we've actually fitted the functions to suit the building. It isn't like we've changed anything or proposing any modifications to the building or the historic context to adapt to the uses. It's literally fitting functions that are conducive to good neighborhood in order to support and keep the castle afloat. You can see the rooms proposed are situated around the main staircase, which is the typology of this type of building. And it's a way in which students, people who tradespeople can come and see the actual craftsmanship of this period. So it's a controlled way of opening it up to the public. So that's our appeal. Let the public at least enjoy the workmanship, the craftsmanship of this building. Thank you.
Yeah, good. So I can take this over a little bit when we're getting to the proposal, and the slide is already up. So what the castle is asking for is do something what we call limited lodging, and it's based on what the castle has been done in its tradition and its past anyway, because it was always a house of hospitality. And the castle feels the urge to share the castle also. And now the idea here is not to build a hotel. That is not in our mind at all, actually. It is more about an experience. It's an overnight experience at the Franklin Castle. And it's non-consecutive. So that means that subscribers These are our guests. Nobody walks into the castle from like walk-ins, not at all. We have subscribers, we have people we know before, they are invited into the castle then, and they're spending a night for a way of experiencing the castle. Also, the castle, of course, has a bit of a paranormal background. We're trying to balance this, keep the paranormal, of course, idea going in the past, but also including cultural events, and that's much more important to the team. So limited lodging, that's the sub part, and the other one is the kind of curiosity, and that idea is to bridge cultural ideas from Europe and share them also with the United States, in this case with the castle. The idea is certain artworks which can be discussed or described, if you like, small gatherings, as it always has been, even at the time in the 1960s, in the 1920s, and also at the time of the Tiedemanns in those days, which always were welcoming the community, to maybe to learn or to further some kind of ideas or a cultural exchange, if you like, between the castle and the outside of things. Now, to illustrate this a little bit better, we do have a next slide, and I'd like to talk a little bit about so there are two drawings. Everything on the green side, we would start with the limited lodging. We did mark or highlight the bedrooms we would like to make available. One of them on the first floor, second floor, and on the third floor there. And also on the second floor, there is a part, and then Ivan could most probably explain this a little bit further. You want to take that over, Ivan?
Which is the suite 2? Are we talking about suite 2?
Yeah, just outlining the 3 bedrooms over there from an architectural standpoint.
It's just making use of the actual typology of the place. So and they're located at the back of the home, so it is practically respecting the original function of the place. That's all I can say about this this interpretation or what we're asking for.
Yeah. So we highlighted the areas over there, and that is all the fact after the restoration. The castle will continue doing restorations anyway, but we are also sometimes in a situation where the castle also has to survive in one way or the other, and it becomes over time, especially when Chiara had her opening speech. That is an ongoing effort since basically 2011 on a yearly basis to get the castle somehow, and then of course it has been done and restored entirely into something the community of course can enjoy. So the idea here is what's highlighted over there, to have overnight guests for one night, parking situation, and we can show this later on. This would be on almost the last slide here on that presentation. There's a parking situation we do have. We do see in the agenda that a parking requirement of 6,000 square foot is required. That is obviously something the castle cannot afford, obviously. But on the other side, the castle is neither going in any kind of idea of being a hotel or not even an Airbnb. We do not see that in this way. And that might be difficult because also we have a bit of a, how would I say, we have a bit of a problem how to fit into the zoning code with what we have in mind. If you can do the next slide over there, if possible. Yeah. So here's a bit of a close-up of the same floor. So it's not additional, that's just a close-up of the same what we talked about. So one area would be on the lower floor, one area would be on the first floor on the right side. And then on the second floor, there is a larger area. The idea to have 2 guests in bedroom number 1, if you like, 2 guests in bedroom number 2, and 4 guests, because it's larger, on bedroom number 4. We will not utilize the ballroom because the ballroom is basically an atelier and not meant for any of these things. And at the moment, also, we do not do anything with the carriage house, which also belongs to the castle. There's the Franklin Castle, there's a rose garden. Next to that is the carriage house. And that's at the moment marked as no work. Now, for the future, we would love, of course, to keep restoration going. But then again, on the other side, the castle has to build in some kind of a survival mechanism, if you like. And that is where we would like to work together with the city of Cleveland to see of what's possible. So this is why in this stage we only limiting us literally on 3 bedrooms, if you like. And it's not going to be too much more because, of course, at some point the castle will run out of space.
I see that, excuse me, I see that Julie from your team had her hand up. Is that something, Julie, you wanted to say at this point during your your colleague's
Sure. And I'm not sure if this is something that Jens was going to cover later, so I don't want to. On the first, what is the main hall and library on what would be the first floor is the area that they would use for group meetings. And evidently it was the building department, I think, said that they were allowed to have 35 people in there. Would not do, but that's what that area, I just wanted to explain what that area is and is used for. So that would be part of the function of the castle.
Sorry, the code, I just wanted to point out because it might seem confusing. All these plans with everything that's written on it is quite complex. In fact, it's not something we're doing, it's something that's already been done and passed and inspected back in 2017. And it was this, all this is already done. And it was made with architect Dale Cerne. Everything is in double X anti-fire walls, isolating all the units. The main hall is isolated from the living units. All these things you see are isolated ones from another because we made the works to make sure it could be, it passed inspection with the fire department for what they call right of assembly, 30 people max in one room. That's the technical part. Sorry, I didn't want you to think that all of this was plans we have to do. We actually already did them.
Right.
Sorry.
Okay. Is there parking on site at all at this point? Go ahead.
I can take that on. If we go to slide, I believe slide 7, just the one before the final frame. If you go to the next one, please. And one more, please. I'm sorry. That's the one. What we're looking at over here, Ivan, you want to, maybe you can chime in onto this also, but what we're looking here at here is the ground plan of the rose garden. So there's a driveway, there is a gate into it. It's made for cars, of course. Now, that is the drawing we were looking at the moment. That would be the amount of cars fitting into the area. But then, however, we would never expect that amount to start with. And we did have that drawn up because of the requirement of 6,000 square feet, put it this way. So that slide kind of, that hones in into the idea of parking, the availability, which is accessible from both areas, from both sides, Franklin Boulevard and, of course, the alleyway in the back.
So what is your plan for parking if you have a larger event?
Well, the larger event, there isn't really more than I would say, like in our future plans, there's not really more than 12 people in one event anyway. There is also public transportation about 2 minutes away from here, if it's a local kind of idea. And if we would talk about, like, for instance, like Franklin Castle tours, there is a tremendous interest in touring the castle. Again, it's never really going over that amount of people. So even if they would, had to park in the back, we would never get to this amount, I would say. Yeah, that makes sense.
Just, Madam Chair, can I jump in just with regard to?
Absolutely, yep, go ahead.
So, and I just want the appellant to confirm, would you instruct people to park in publicly available parking spots on West 44th, on Clinton Avenue, on, I'm not sure actually how much parking there's on Franklin right now, but is your plan to have people park on the streets? That's my first question. And then I noticed in your documents that you had some sort of arrangement with Thomas Beverage with respect to parking. So if you could speak to that as well.
Yes, yeah, indeed. So there is another parking option, and that is on Detroit Avenue, about a minute and a half away here from the castle. And there are parking possibilities on that end. And we did reach out to the owner of that property and came to an arrangement. So if that's required, we do have that already. But then again, the events at Franklin Castle are never really planned to have an unusual amount of guests here at the same time. So we really want to emphasize on this. So we believe that the parking situation here at the castle alone is quite sufficient, at least to us. If we would have to extend it, there is a possibility to have parking on Detroit Avenue with a parking lot over there. Yeah.
I guess I just want to make sure that I'm not sure you directly answered my question. There is parking for people though outside of your property on the street. So if you were to have more than, I don't know how many cars are here, 6 cars or 10 cars, whatever it is, they could park on the streets.
They could park, they could park right on the street. Then again, we kind of try to avoid it because we're trying in a way to make the activity as least as a problem for the neighborhood. So by taking car places away. So that's why we did some research here of what is on the slide. That's the kind of cars, if need be, we can put that in there. And again, with the additional option to have another parking lot to about 20 up there at Detroit Avenue. But yes, I mean, if there are activities in the castle, there's an option, of course. People could park here on the street. But again, we do try to keep the footprint as least as possible for the neighborhood. Yeah.
Understandable, thank you. And I am in the neighborhood about one street over from you, so I'm very familiar.
Yeah, we don't want to take your parking lot away. You see when you come home, no.
Yeah. So, and then to follow up, you did mention briefly there's public transportation available. Will you be informing your guests of those options that they can use public transportation? You are very close to the stop for the 25, the 20, and the 51, I think, several bus lines.
Yes, almost naturally, because we do believe in the green idea. So it's good to have some, public transportation to use. Again, there are many bus stops around here. The closest here is literally like almost 2 minutes away. And we do tell this when we have guests coming in. We do tell them that. So this would be the first option. And even especially when guests come from outside Cleveland, that's natural anyway. And we do see there's public transportation available, and that's what you should use in the first place. So if that's not the case, we can offload it here. And if required, again, then we have an option. But yeah, we do say that. Yes.
Thank you so much. I have some more questions, and then I'll shut up.
That's good.
My additional question relates to employees. And you're planning to operate this as a inn, so to speak? I know hotel is not the right word.
Mhm.
How many employees will you have? Do these employees live here? Or are they coming in and out for work? And then with respect to the ownership of the property, I know there are several of you on the call. Who owns the property? And is and who rents it? What is the situation with ownership?
Yeah, this is something I would pass on to Chiara.
So our main concern always since the beginning is not to disturb anybody. We're very, very just by nature and also because of the place being so well known, we're always afraid to disturb or we don't want to make any problem. So I know Jens has always, we always recommend each other's with Jens not to, ever to cause any disturbance. So that's why we don't want to have cars in the streets and so on. We try to limit to the maximum. We ourselves use bikes. We advise if we have guests to have a bike, to rent bikes. We really don't want to do any trouble. So that's the base. But the ownership, so I'm the owner. I did all the restoration with Pascal. At the beginning, he was the GC, as private. Then we worked with the Amish. So we are very proud of all this, trying to maintain to the maximum the quality of the materials and to continue the restoration until it's really like to all the details how it's supposed to be, because it's the project I like the best that I did in restoration. I'm from Venice, Italy, so we've always been restoring, stuccos, old buildings. This is the one I'm most proud of. So of course we're very careful as a treasurer not to make any mistakes and to bring it until the end, until we have the funds to do the carriage house too. And Jens, we're very grateful because he with Ashley McKee have been our tenants for many years and we're partners now. And they're extraordinarily reliable tenants. They're also very good with technical things with the website. And they're very invested because, Jens is from the same village as in Germany. So it's a work of love, really. That's
Yeah, you can certainly sense that you have a passion for this castle, which we all appreciate because it is a historic building and it's a Cleveland landmark, and it's a tourist attraction. And I'm surprised that when Liz was going through the history of the property, we did not hear anything about ghosts, because it is very
Well, we haven't been
popular,
here. Yeah, right.
popular paranormal attraction that I know attracts people from all over the world. So
we don't know that they're not present with us, Miss Roca.
I like to believe they are. Every Halloween I walk by and I hope to see one in the window.
I wouldn't rule that out.
It's an incredibly, we don't, we don't like the idea that we believe in ghosts because it sounds crazy, but it does, what I can say for sure is it does have some magnetic. I've always felt good in that building. It's like, I think if you go in with a bad mood, you're going to see bad things. And if you go in with a good spirit, you're going to have like extraordinary energy. That's what we felt. It's like an amplifier in music.
Yes, yes. Well, we at the Board of Zoning Appeals appreciate your passion for the home and your stewardship of taking care of it. You did submit your financials, and it's very clear that it is expensive, extremely expensive to maintain this project, and the castle and the restoration work that you put in is commendable. But as we go through the process here at BZA, you heard earlier in the meeting that once a variance is approved, that it runs with the property. So what I want to make sure of is that you all are very passionate in caring for this home, that that we are clear on the facts of what is happening here in perpetuity. So it's going to be, a small inn with 3 suites. The parking we've addressed, the public transportation we've addressed. And what I like to focus in on now is who is running. And thank you for clarifying the ownership structure. Who is actually going to operate this inn while it's open? And are there employees? And what is happening with respect to operations?
Yeah. So Raise your hand.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, Ashley and I, so myself, will operate the idea, if you like. Small steps on that, they are already done, but then again, of course, we wanted to, we like the idea to have that official and be on a map. That's the best way how I can explain that. Employees, it doesn't take that much. I would say about at the maximum 2, because it's not consecutive nights when it comes to overnights, let's say. That would be more than sufficient. We did submit an entire business plan, I think, but it might have been lost in translation at this point. There was a whole write-up with many pages. Going.
You received it. I just would like your testimony on it. Yes.
Yeah. So we sent that. But that's what I would say. Yeah, it's I would say about maybe one employee and then a bit of help here and there, but it's always required, of course. But it's a rather small operation. I believe that once we got foot with that, maybe at some point, maybe we can think, maybe we can think bigger, but right now is to build some kind of a foundation. And that's what the castle really needs. It needs some kind of a foundation in a way of, sustain itself. I mean, I'd be as straightforward as I can there. And, okay. But anyway, to answer the question, that's what I would think, about.
Ms. Roca, I'm just sorry to you, sir. Miss Leonard has had her hand up, so I just wanted her to have an opportunity to make her statement.
Sure.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Shannon Leonard. So I'm just going to flip my hat here back to probably about a year ago when this all came about. So as Ms. Roca stated, when the city was made aware that they were having overnight guests, that's, I believe, when maybe a violation notice was written or whatever. And that was really because of that fire that Ms. Steigerwald had pointed out. Right. The chief building official had concerns and wanted to make sure that if they are having overnight guests, that everything is safe for the public, not only for people visiting, but the neighborhood as well. We met with with Jens, Ms. Kitts and Ivan and the team, as well as with Mr. Vanover, as well as Maurice Rowlands, who was formerly with us. And we all agree that, that the city is in support of seeing the castle come back online and understand that there's a massive maintenance cost in terms of also maintaining it, but also restoring it. But we wanted to make sure that the team, when they put in their permits, they were seeking the permits that they needed to get the appropriate variances, because it is Zone 2 family. And we wanted to make sure that they were able to conduct the operation that they wanted to, that they needed to maintain, as well as restore the property in general. And so that's what I think caused the differences in terms of the letters of nonconformance. But as it relates to what they're doing, they really wanted to make sure that they weren't disturbing the neighborhood and they kind of still just fit in, and that whatever experience they were offering to their guests was an intimate experience, and it wasn't some crazy party event space. And so that's when I think you heard the architect or Jen say that, or the owner say that, their events will never be larger than 12 people. And that was very intentional and purposeful. I think it's also important to note that when we talk about where to park, there is parking on site that they're showing here in the site plan. But again, it is a destination. And so there are going to be people coming from other places that are probably not in Cleveland to visit this home, for whether that's the paranormal activity or whether just to see how wonderful such a big, massive home is in this neighborhood. It's kind of hidden in plain sight, right? So I think from a city planning perspective, we definitely support putting this home back into service. And we support the team that's put so much time and effort in trying to really make something and make this a destination for others. It's also important to note that Mr. Jens, as well as I believe another young lady, they're actually occupying the home. And so they're not doing overnight stays every night of the week. I think it's planned. They require, I think, reservations. And so that anytime that they may be having any type of event there, they should know in advance to either, let whomever know that they may be having an event. But again, the occupancy that I think they're requesting here for any type of events is up to 12.
So, Ms.
you, Ms.
Leonard, typically when we have sort of unusual venues, sort of this, we put some conditions on it. And very typically we ask for a contract to be submitted for off-site parking, which it sounds like there's been some discussion of that with someone, the Detroit address that you were mentioning. And so just to you, Ms. Leonard, would you want that as a condition? It seems to me that we need to make the event attendee limit with a cap of 12 or just slightly higher. We also talked about many people cycling there, and we do not have a bike rack on the site plan. So I think that might be something we'd want to add.
I imagine people will be coming in from if they're not traveling by car, they'll be coming either by public transit or, like you said, bike. I will note that on March 15th, the TDM legislation goes into effect, and if they're within this transit development zone, parking generally won't be required across the city without as long as they participate in the transit demand management program. So
okay, so
I don't really have too much to say about requiring parking.
all right.
If they're seeking a parking variance, I would recommend giving it since they are providing one to several spaces on site.
Right, okay. And then we're at this point, we're talking about one employee. And I think probably we want to put that as a condition up to maybe 6, just to give some limitation.
It's
is
the
that-
employees are living on site.
Okay. So is there anything else that you feel needs to be included?
No, I don't think there should be any conditions beyond the variances they need.
Okay, great. All right. Board, do you have any other questions or comments?
No, I just want to clarify, Ms. Leonard, so you are saying that you believe there should be no conditions beyond the variances? Is that what you just said?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Do you want?
No, I have, all my
you wanna-
questions have been answered.
Okay, I was just gonna say, do we want a bike rack on the site plan?
So I would say, Madam Chair, great idea, but I would ask that it be in the back of the property between the carriage house and the castle, because A, there's not a lot of room out front, and B, it really would kind of affect the general aesthetic of the house. And this is a famous house.
Right.
So I guess I would advocate that a bike rack not be put anywhere that's visible from the front.
I would agree that you were reading my mind there. So I think that's just to the owners, the design team. We'd just like to see a site plan submitted with a bike rack to the rear, sort of carriage house adjacent, not on the street. Anything else, board?
Can I make a quick comment?
Is that Julie? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. I realize because of the legislation regarding parking that's coming up, this really isn't an issue, but there is a school and this is just sort of a general planning question, maybe. There's a school that's about a half a block away that has huge parking lot. Yeah. And I wonder if there's any way of making use of that for their parking. I don't know how the city stands on those kind of things. but it's a huge parking lot.
Yeah, I think that's something that would need to be worked out with the school. Typically when we request off-site parking with an agreement to be submitted, that it's a privately owned property owner. Ms. Leonard, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
I mean, that's something they could explore themselves, but I wouldn't require it in the
Yeah.
variance.
Agree. Okay. All right.
In addition, I mean, as Ms. Leonard stated, these parking variances are going away in a couple weeks.
Exactly.
So, I
Right.
just don't think we should spend a lot of time on it.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else, board? Mr. Bay, you have anything else to add?
Shannon,
Nope.
I did a great job. So
Okay. All right. All right. I'll entertain a motion then. Ms.
I'll
Roper?
take it. I
Yeah.
will,
I'm gonna
the
let-
pleasure of making the motion to approve calendar number 23-224 based on the testimony we've heard today with the only condition that the appellants put a bike rack on the rear portion of the property and submit a plan showing that to the secretary.
Yeah.
Great. Can
Member
I have
Wilson, I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson, with the second. Okay, we'll call the vote.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ms. Holter?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Bay?
Yes.
Calendar number 23-224 is granted conditionally. We will hold ratification until we receive that updated site plan. Once we receive that, we'll ratify it the following Monday and send you a letter. But please feel free to contact our office with any other questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck to you. It's great to see someone taking such a vested interest in that particular building. I almost bought a house just a few doors down to the east and really have a soft spot in my heart for that part of the city. So good luck to you.
Yes, good luck and thank you for caring for
very
this
much.
property.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. That concludes our cases for today. We will move on to old business. We have numbers 3 through 7 without objection, board.
No
Without
objection.
objection.
No objection.
Right. All right. Do you want to go over anything about this hearing request, Liz?
No, Madam Chair, she had a portion of an email, an opposition email that was sent to us. It was not included with the statement. We did on the record state that there was an opposition email, but we did not explicitly go through page by page. So the attorney is requesting the opportunity to get everything on the record.
The person who's opposing it.
Right,
their
the attorney of the opponent.
Okay. And that was sent out in an email to the board.
So yes.
Okay. Anyone have any comments or discussion about that? So rehearing without objection, board?
No objection.
No objection.
Objection.
Okay, thanks. All right. You want to schedule a date or?
Sure. Would you like to do the middle of March, just kind of get it out of the way, March 11th?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, March 18th. We have the March 11th already.
All right, so March 18th?
Yes.
All right, so rehearing will be March 18th on that case then.
Thank you.
All right. All right, is anyone planning on being absent for the next meeting? Any recusals that anyone knows of?
Not that I am aware of.
All right. And do people know if they're going to be in person or online?
I will be online.
Okay.
My
Anyone
plan
else?
is to be in person, but I'll let you know if that changes.
Okay, great. Ms. Brown, Ms. Wilson, do you know at this time?
Plan is in person unless I can't.
Okay, super.
Thanks.
All right, super. Thanks very much. Have a great week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
We are adjourned.